if you know anything about me, you'll know that I've been in love with music since I can remember. I've been a participant in many different genres, whether it be classical or jazz or gospel or anything else. I've enjoyed all of it over the course of my life, but nothing, and I mean nothing, has stuck with me quite like metal. The scene, the creativity, the emotion, and especially the fucking moshing, dude. All of it has had a profound impact on me. As the vocalist for a growing band and as an aspiring professional musician, I want to talk to people in the scene, both big and small, about what brought them to decide to take the stage and make their mark. This is the Path to the Pit. All right. This is the first episode of Path to the Pit. And I am joined by...
Oh, this is PLUSFICTION.
It's okay. All right.
Here.
So, tell us who you are, what you do, what you're about.
Yeah. So, okay, my actual name is Alec. I make just like heavy experimental, whatever the fuck bullshit music that I make it in my apartment. It's all done on a laptop. Half the time the instruments aren't even real. The only thing I like literally record usually ends up being like the vocals and sometimes the guitar. On the most recent record I did, most of the guitar work is VST. It's not even like a real guitar.
Your metalcore, or the true metalcore community is gonna piss on you for making MacBook metalcore.
I think actually, like low key, I feel like if you own the fact that you're using VST guitars, people get a lot less uppity about it.
Yeah, like I mean, at least they're being transparent, I guess.
Right? It's like, yeah, that's a fake fucking instrument. But yeah, my project name is PLUSFICTION. I just sit at my laptop and I'm like, what would sound cool? And then I try to make it happen, and people like it for some reason. So I get to like, I don't know, I get to make it a thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It like sustains itself. It's cool.
Yeah, no. I was listening to a bit of the discography yesterday just to refresh myself with post-abortion. What's it called?
Post-birth Nazi abortion.
Thank you. It's a little bit of a mouthful. Yeah,
Love
dude.
that.
I was sitting there and it's just a minute 39 of pure just anger. And
yeah, like 90% of the lyricism is extremely political because the music it's like my main way of expressing that in a way that feels like it helps me deal with everything going on, like mentally.
Oh, 100%.
Like it helps me kind of express that because obviously like talking to people about it, right? And just like getting word out and stuff. That's great. I have a lot of respect for people who are able to do that. Yeah. But I like to use music as my platform for that. I think I don't know how obvious it is to people that it's political, but I would think with some of the titles.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure post-birth Nazi abortion is pretty like transparent.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But I don't know. Hey, you know how people are.
I mean, hey, like there's always more room for artists to be more vocal with their platform, stand up for their beliefs and stand up for, the oppressed. And you're doing it in your own creative way. You're doing it in a way that a lot of people have never heard before. And that's something that's really unique. I think you bring a lot to the table.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. And wow, you have more monthly listeners than Bloodveil does, which is fucking awesome.
That came out of fucking nowhere, by the way.
Well,
I don't know where, because there had been times before where I had had random spikes, and I'm like, okay, this has to be bots. So I look at you go to the Spotify section, and there's the playlists that are obviously the botted playlists,
yes.
And I'm like, fuck, okay, so none of this is real. DistroKid threw my fucking music out there, and it got bot bombed or whatever.
Yeah,
but that's not happening right now.
Yeah, no, this is fully authentic. I can't tell you.
Word got out. I don't know. Yeah. It's fucking, as of this morning, I think it's 1,100 this month.
Yeah, people. You have 1,122 monthly listeners as of right now.
What the
You're killing it.
It was like 100 before this EP came out.
Yeah, I can't tell you. I'll just be scrolling through, you know, the Twitter timeline, and you know, we follow each other rather, you know, closely.
Yeah.
So it was like I just keep seeing like people like PLUSFICTION's record is so good.
People talk about it,
and that must be surreal.
Fucking weird to me. It's weird because I'm like, why? Where did you come from?
I remember the day that Hollow Heart came out, and like weeks on top of weeks, you had people talking about it and people wanting to do interviews, and like Garrett from Silent Planet, like reposting it, and you know, Nightlife, and like having all that response. It's surreal. And you just get added all the time, and you're like, okay, this is kind of annoying, but like I'm into it.
Exactly. No, I'm gonna be so real. I name search because I want to see what people are saying.
We're all guilty of that. Like any artist
like,
that says otherwise is lying.
And aside from people, like genuinely, aside from people that either aren't into metal to begin with, or people that have some sort of gripe with like the politics, I haven't seen anyone say anything that is overall negative, like anywhere. And I don't know. That's just, I don't know. It's trippy.
Well,
it's weird.
And to be fair, we are on a side of Twitter, which is, it's very scarce to find this nowadays, obviously, with the Nazi-infused fucking website now. But like we're on a side of Twitter that is relatively like infected with the woke mind virus, right? Like we
which I so appreciate.
Yeah, I love it, and I'm glad that metalcore is like still, and not just metalcore, but metal in general right now is still trying to stay, you know, Nazi free, right? So
well, I mean,
trying was the key term.
The labels don't care.
Yes.
So all of the charting metal bands are just like full of, you know, seen Disturbed and Five Finger Death Punch and Falling in Reverse and fucking all of these shit bands, which, funny enough, all kind of served as gateways for me when I was
and
first getting into this shit.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. But no, like I was trying to say, man, like luckily there hasn't been a lot of pushback because what I've noticed is, like I said, you're bringing something kind of unique to the table. You have a clusterfuck of like genre inspiration, and like I said, we'll get into it. But you're bringing something that's very different, and you also have a really powerful and interesting way of conveying your message of something that's just really, really important to put out there. And I think with what you're saying, it is, you know, resonating with people, no matter if it's like silly, like just for a fucking minute and a half straight, right? Like you're doing something that I think is really important and has the possibility to kind of transform the scene right now. I think you're at a beginning point.
I fucking hope so, man. Because I really want to... I'm not going to name names. But there have been some releases that I've heard in the last, like, few months from people that... From bands much bigger than myself that had followed me prior. And there are little moments where I'm like... Was that from me?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name names. I'm not gonna, cause like that would be so like autofallacious of me. Like I'm not gonna. But like there've been moments where I'm like, and I think like the goal from the start has always been to do something that nobody's heard before, because I really don't know what the point of making music that someone's heard before is. Which is what I love so much about what you guys do. I really feel like you're in a very unique kind of strain of metalcore, despite, I mean, like, I feel like pretty much every song you guys have put out, it's like roughly the same genre of what it is that you guys do.
Yeah.
But it's all very you. Like I don't hear anyone else when I listen to it. And I wanted to do that too.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad that someone I perceive as doing that is giving the same.
Oh yeah, no, we kind of started
label to me.
we started around the same time, so it only makes sense, you know.
Cool.
Yeah, dude. So let's start getting to the nitty gritty. All right.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to touch on your earliest moments, right? I kind of want to see where this really started for you. So I kind of want to ask, like, what was your earliest memory of coherent interaction with music?
Okay. So because obviously, like, when you're super young, right, you don't know exactly like how old you were.
Yeah, and it's easy
I'm not
to
gonna pretend like I
romanticize.
know the timeline.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pretend like I know the timeline, but a few instances that I can remember where I was like thinking about what music was doing, just like in my youth. I recall. I mean, the foundation for my music taste was that when I was young, and this would have had to have been like from ages like 1 to probably like 6, because I used to, my parents and I, before the recession hit in 2008,
Yeah.
we used to go on like weekend road trips pretty often.
Yeah.
Because at the time my parents could afford to do that.
Yeah.
So unfortunately that it eventually not end up
Life
being the case.
happens.
But yeah, exactly. But we would pretty much spend the entirety of these road trips, which sometimes were hours long, with alt radio and rock radio on. Yeah. And so a lot of the stuff that was on like charting in like that range, 2002, 2008, which like honestly was such a golden age for that time.
That's true. That's true.
Fucking low key, like that, there was some heat on the charts at that point. So there was a lot of stuff that I was hearing that I don't know that I would necessarily say I was like super duper like, oh, this is so cool, like that was the only thing I could think about as the only thing. But there were definitely like for sure I remember being kind of like later on when I was kind of like my brain had developed a little bit, but I wasn't like crazy into music yet, being like, where are these melodies coming from? Right. And it would end up being like Red Hot Chili Peppers or like Cage the Elephant or like Black Keys. Like those are some of the ones. But I want to say the earliest time I remember like analyzing a song I was hearing. So a lot of my a lot of the reason I'm really into stuff that's kind of more like experimental and like grandiose, I think I want to attribute to a lot of the gaming I did growing up, because a lot of video game soundtracks have a lot of that going on. And I specifically remember, I can't remember what route it is in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl.
Oh yeah.
But there's a horn that does this melody that's really similar to the hook in 21 Guns by Green Day. And I remember being with my dad in the car, 21 Guns was playing, and I was like, this sounds like that song. But it's not that song. What makes them similar? And from there, it was kind of like, and my dad was always like, whenever we'd hear music together, he would always point out, like, he's not a musical person. Yeah. Like, he doesn't play any instruments, he doesn't sing, he doesn't write music, but he's very into listening. And, like, he's very into everything outside of, like, actually writing it. So there would be moments where he'd be playing whatever the fuck, and he'd be like, oh, that was cool. That was interesting. And like whenever there'd be a song on that would suck and he would change the radio, he'd be like, that was boring. That was stupid. You know what I mean? So it's like that kind of like would rub off on me.
Oh yeah.
So like whenever some like corny bullshit like Motley Crue would come on, he'd be like, turn this shit off. Or like you two would
correct
turn on,
opinion.
Like, fucking, yeah, I know, right? Exactly. But there were other times where it would be like, it'd be like fucking System of a Down. And he'd keep it on.
Oh yeah.
Or it'd be like 3 Days Grace, keep it on.
Yeah.
Fucking like, sure. And then even some of the shit that's like not necessarily heavy, like the stuff at like Chili Peppers, Cage the Elephant, fucking Green Day was another one. I heard a lot of Sublime too.
Oh yeah.
Nirvana.
Yeah.
Oh, that was huge. Nirvana, I forgot because of like how fucking common it was.
Yeah.
A lot of those songs were like I would just hear them all the time because that was more of what he liked, and he would keep it on. And it was interesting, kind of like retrospect, like in retrospect, because there was a lot of stuff that would come on that is considered metal,
right?
That I liked, but I didn't know that it was considered metal until way later, when I had already kind of cemented my taste very much outside of that. for a while.
Right.
And so that was really interesting, kind of like as like a shock. But like, yeah, there was that. And then I also remember there's this super deep cut Bon Jovi song. I don't remember what it's called, but it's so different from the rest of his music. And my mom was really into my mom was kind of like into a lot of like the hairband shit, which like my dad wasn't. But I would hear a lot of that. I'm kind of low key a Guns N' Roses apologist, which I feel like might get me some heat. But
that's your prerogative,
there was this CD my mom had. Yeah, right. They've got some bangers. But there was this CD my mom had that was some sort of fucking like Bon Jovi, like fucking probably the least sold album he ever put out, a bunch of random bullshit on there. And there was this one song, I think it's called Memory or something like that. And it's more of like a piano, but like instrumentally it sounds more like an Elton John song.
Interesting.
But like even going back to it now, I'm like, that is so pretty. And I remember it being kind of like the first song I was like, oh, I like what this song is doing.
Yeah.
And that would have had to have been me being like 5 or 6 years old.
Oh, and I mean, there's studies from forever ago that I don't know if they still hold up, but it's the whole like, if you're, playing classical for your baby when they're younger, they have a more intellectual response as they grow. And I know people are like now talking about the fact that IQ is like some Nazi measurement shit.
It's like not real.
Yeah.
It's a fucking eugenic.
Yeah.
I mean, it can roughly correlate to intelligence. Right. It's like not.
So like I said, I don't know how well that, holds up, but it's classical and metal.
You actually just fucking unearthed something for me. There was this show for like super young children that like I think probably existed because of those studies. I think it was literally called like Baby Mozart or something like that.
Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. My mom had DVDs that she would play when I was whenever I'd stay at my grandma's house, and that would just be like what was on.
Right.
I couldn't tell you a single thing that was fucking coming from it, but now that I think about it, that probably also had a decent amount of formative
for sure.
influence.
For sure.
And like I hadn't even organically thought about that probably in like a decade at least at this point.
Dude, my mom would try to get me into Little Einsteins, but that shit did not resonate with me. I was like,
that too.
The Wiggles is what did it for me. The fucking awesome. Wiggles. The Wiggles held me.
I was a Yo Gabba Gabba fiend if we're talking about like musical shows. That's fair. Yeah, that shit was my shit.
But yeah, I mean, so you mentioned artists like Cage the Elephant and Red Hot Chili Peppers, System of a Down, Guns N' Roses. So, like, would you say these were some of your favorite artists as a kid, or did you have?
At the time, absolutely. Yeah. I was so my music development as like as someone who like follows and listens to like bands specifically happened way later than a lot of people's timelines, because I'm not really like this anymore necessarily, but and for a lot of like my adolescence, I was super into video games.
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, even though like my taste had been like influenced by those artists, up until probably like 8th grade or even like freshman year, the shit I was listening to for like on my own once I finally got like a phone and like headphones and I could like was I wouldn't even do that. I'd go on SoundCloud and I would listen to remixes of music from video games that I liked. Dude,
that's
and that was like all
peak.
I listened to for probably 3 or 4 years. That was like all I listened to, which I think is where the electronic foundation came from. But aside from that, I just remember another thing. Fucking in elementary school, I really liked Just Dance.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
And it was like the fucking which one would that have been? Like the 2010 one.
Oh yeah.
So there was a lot of like LMFAO, Daft Punk, Black Eyed Peas, stuff like that. So that also like laid some groundwork. Dude, I'm remembering so much shit just from this. It's like it's all adding up. I'm like, oh yeah, duh. Of course I'd be fucking. But yeah, so I think that's where a lot of like the electronic and influence came from, and I don't even remember necessarily where I was going with that. Oh yeah. So once not to like skip ahead necessarily, but once I started listening to like bands, once I started listening to like artists that weren't just like random accounts on SoundCloud, which is just as much of an artist, but I'm just to draw the distinction between like the eras.
Yeah, you're good, man.
Right. I think my main goal, I would go on YouTube. I would find bands whose names I could remember from when I was growing up, and then I would just skim the tracks until I found a melody or a chorus that I remembered. And I was like, this is a song that I remember. This is a song that I like. I'm going to listen to this more.
Right.
And then from there, it just kind of started branching out. So I think at that point, for like the longest time, I considered Red Hot Chili Peppers my favorite band.
Hell yeah.
Which now it's like purely nostalgic for
yeah.
me. It's like, you know, which like I feel like a lot of us can relate to.
Yeah.
But they were one that I considered my favorite for the longest time. Cage the Elephant too. I think them and Black Keys. I think those were the three that were like really at the top for me. Nirvana for a while too.
Hey.
But yeah, that's kind of where I started when I was like I started listening to guitar music. You know, so yeah, I would say there were points in my life where those were like what I considered my favorites. Guns N' Roses too was up there for me for a while.
And
but yeah,
I mean, and it sounds like you do consider these to be something that you still draw inspiration from today. So, I mean,
oh yeah, I mean, it would definitely depend on how direct you would consider influence to be, but I definitely wouldn't be making the music I make today if it weren't for all of the time I spent listening to these bands, which is so funny because I don't know how many people would hear that.
I mean, if you really sat down and you were like, yes, let's do a breakdown of this composition.
If I did like an analysis, I could probably convince people. here's how this fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers radio ballad influenced fucking Everything I Touch Dies. Let's go through it. And it's
let's listen to Californication.
Let me explain how it influenced my writing decisions for post-birth Nazi abortions. It sounds stupid, but it's real. It's there.
It has a G chord somewhere,
which I probably thought was cool back then. Therefore, but I would definitely consider those bands influences.
Yeah, for sure. No, so you didn't mention adolescence, so I kind of wanted to ask around like what age did you start branching out of these favorite childhood artists and kind of look outside of what your parents were introducing you to? Yeah.
So funny. So what I want to say, if we're gonna when I started branching out from there, in terms of bands that were kind of like similar to those that I would. Oh, another one I fucking grew up on was Weezer. I was crazy into Weezer.
Hey,
my bad. But I would honestly probably as late as fucking like junior or senior year was when I really started trying to like discover like shit that I liked I found for myself. Like it was fairly recent within the last like seven or so years.
Hey, and I don't think it's ever too late, you know, like it to find the art that really resonates with you. That doesn't matter what age you are. I mean, there's older people still trying to like, you know, communicate and stay in touch with, you know, the modern era.
I fucking love. I was reading up on it was Black Star. That's David Bowie, right?
Yes.
And he fucking cites Death Grips as like one of his main influences.
That's awesome.
It's like that's so fucking cool to me. And like fucking Johnny Cash, one of his last songs being a fucking Nine Inch Nails cover. Shit like that. It's just so like that stuff makes me so happy. So I don't think I'll ever try to like fucking the music from my time is so much better, because I've always been of the opinion that music continues to get better.
Yes.
Like
I think you're right on with that. I will say though, I was listening to that new Born of Osiris song. I was like,
I didn't even bother. I haven't listened to it. I'm not going to.
Yeah, I shouldn't have entertained it, but I listened. I was like, man, I remember when they were fucking good. Like being in like 8th grade or freshman year, being like, fuck yeah, like listening to like the debut. You know, I think that came out past like that or before that time, but like I remember finding all those bands late middle school, early high school. I was like, dude, this is fucking awesome.
This is the shit.
Yeah, dude.
It doesn't get heavier than this.
And then I found Humanity's Last Breath.
And then, no, it sneaks up on you.
Mm-hmm. But
it really does.
What was your family's kind of response to the music you ended up enjoying? Like, if they were involved in kind of that area of that exploration,
funny enough, I kind of, for a while, I didn't really necessarily include them in my, like, once screaming entered the equation, I kind of, like, tried to keep them away from it because I didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of the bands that my mom and my dad both like kind of venture into that territory.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad's never really like, I mean, there were a lot of bands that were considered like nu metal bands that my dad would keep on, and he was very much I'm not keeping this radio station on if they're playing garbage. So like I would hear, we've definitely, my dad and I have had our fair share of fucking Linkin Park listening parties, System of a Down.
Yeah.
I'm sure some Disturbed has played. Fucking Limp Bizkit, I'm sure, has been on a few times. My dad really likes Tool. Like, they're one of his favorites.
Tool's great.
Which, like, I mean, not necessarily like screamy, right? But they're a metal band. Like, So it's like the type of thing where I didn't know how they were gonna respond, and I didn't really want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So once my taste kind of started venturing into that territory, whenever I would like go to shows and stuff, and they'd be like, "Oh, what are you gonna go see?" I would just like tell them the name of the band. I'd be like, "It's screamy shit. You wouldn't like it," and then I would like stop there.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, but I mean, I honestly like the music that I'm making, like the heavy music at least that I'm making. I hadn't even shown either of my parents like what I was doing until I shit you not, like maybe a month or two ago.
Hey,
like super duper recently. I showed my dad, because for some reason I don't know. I've got to fucking go to Spotify's fucking headquarters and beat the shit out of someone. But I sent my dad a song that I heard. I thought he would like. I don't know what it was, and I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's because it was from my account that I sent the link. I don't know what the reason for this was, but the song that auto played after was one of mine, and the Canvas picture had me in it. And so my dad was like he sent like a screenshot. He was like, "Is this you? This guy looks like you." I was like, "Yeah, that's me." So like next time I saw him, I like played some of it for him, and he was like, you know, his answer. I was like really happy. He was like, you know, it's not really the type of thing that I would listen to, but it's really cool that you can do this.
Yeah.
He was like, I really like that you're doing this. That's so badass. He was like, "That's you?" I was like, "Yeah." So I was really pleased with his response, because I definitely wasn't expecting like I like this, obviously.
Oh so, yeah, dude. I mean,
my expectations were realistic, so I was just glad to hear something that wasn't like, "Why are you making this garbage?" You know what I mean? So it was cool.
My mom,
I was really happy.
Hates the screamy shit, right? So I was like, she's not gonna fuck with this, but I'm still gonna involve them. And my dad bought it.
Well, especially now that you guys
iTunes.
play shows.
Oh yeah,
cool.
I let them come to a show or two. And they're like, "Yeah, no, that was fun." And my mom is like pretty critical about things, but it's out of a place of love, you know.
Yeah.
But my dad, when Hollow Heart dropped, he was like, "Yeah, I bought it on iTunes." I was like, "What do you think about it?" He was like, "Yeah, that was pretty cool." I was like, "Hey, there we go. Hey, that's all I needed. At least one of the parents to be like, yeah, that's cool." Well, my mom was like, well, my mom was like, "I don't like hearing the screaming." I was like, "Yeah, what's new?"
Like fucking.
Whoa! I totally did not expect that. Yeah.
You don't want me to do the thing that's harsh on the ears?
and then live, my mom was like, "Yeah, it seems like you really had the screaming down. It's just, I think you need to project more on the singing." I was like, "Mom, it's because my screaming is loud as shit. And then when I'm singing, it's drowned out by the cymbals being received through the SM58 here."
Funny enough, I have the opposite problem.
Really?
My screaming is not super loud, but I think the thing that benefits me the most is that the frequencies that cut through on like particularly the style that I like do vocally
Yeah.
are the ones that I want people hearing.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I'm not gonna like complain about that, but it usually I kind of cheat a little. The gain's cranked up quite a bit.
Hey.
And like,
yeah, you gotta hit that.
And like,
and then just turn the fuck up.
Like, no,
I know.
it's not like that. But it is. It's like, I don't know. It could definitely be louder.
Dude, I remember
get better at projecting it.
First starting music, like doing metal music. If I wanted to do screaming, I'd have to wait for my parents to like leave the house if I wanted to do it.
So funny.
Because I was doing false chords too.
Yeah, so you were, yeah. That first EP I put out, like the little debut, I didn't know how to scream yet.
Yeah.
So the vocal chains for that were literally just like distortion up the fucking ass. My Focusrite, like the input gain was all the way up, and I had the mic like fucking this, and I was just like,
yep.
And like untrained ears couldn't really hear it. Like I had a couple friends that were just like, "Oh, that's you," and I was like, "Yeah, man, that's me." Except, I mean, it's not.
Except I saturated the shit out of it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like fucking like 6 fruity distortion on the fucking chan. No, it wasn't that many.
I know that would be crazy.
But it was like, yeah, that would be awesome. Dude. But yeah, no, it was like, and I mean, I don't even remember. I just started practicing. I was like, how do I make these noises? And then I couldn't even tell you how that fucking happened. I think I watched like a YouTube video or two and like totally butchered what they were telling me to do.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, eventually figured it out on my own.
Dude, yeah, I'll be so for real. When I was learning how to fry scream and shit, like, and I'll be so for real with you. It's not consistent, and I'm sure it's my fault. But like a lot of people hit they're like, close your throat, and you're like, and then you push more air, and I'm like, no, like I have to stay relatively open. Like the way I've started like trying to be more consistent is like that. Like you open up from the that's how I figured it out.
I could not even fucking describe the technique, if I'm gonna be completely honest.
That's
like
fair.
Couldn't tell you why. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very much just like I find the sound. I like just.
That's how it was when I went to college, man. I was like, I'm making deathcore. I want this to sound fucking crazy. And dude, there was this one screen. I remember it very vividly. This one screen. It was very reminiscent. I wanted it to be very reminiscent of that, like just straight scream in Bleeding Sun by Chelsea Grin. After that, like crazy slam breakdown. Or whatever it is, or no, it wasn't that. Where is it's the?
I don't know that I know that song.
Oh, dude, check it out. But it's just like fucking just screaming over it, and like I was still doing false chords, but I was trying to just like get
I need to learn how to do that fucking sound.
And I just it kind of hurt, but it sounded fucking crazy. I don't remember how I did it, but I did it, and I got a text in the group me for the floor of that dorm. It was like, "Yo, this room number, you got a gremlin in there?" I was like,
You're like, yeah.
Yeah, I took it on the chin. I won't lie, but I was like, yeah, that's funny as fuck. But at the same time, I was like, hopefully it doesn't sound like a gremlin in the mix.
It's supposed to though.
Yeah, I don't. It was like I don't know. I'm pretty sure, and if I was to open the project, it would just be fucking clipping or some shit.
White fucking block.
And that's perfect.
It's just like it just like stops where the limiter is put. It's just like, because there's a lot of times, honestly.
You use a limiter, fucking pussy.
Clipper, actually.
Oh, okay.
But even more pussy. But there are times, honestly, where like I'll record just like a line or two.
Yeah.
I'll make the chain, and then I'll start recording through the chain just so I can like hear it.
Right.
Instead of just being like, I'm gonna record these takes and hope that that's what I need.
Hey.
Because like I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
dude.
waste time.
I'm overly critical of my takes. Like, I'm like, unless it is perfect and consistent, we're gonna do this until like I just can't anymore. And it's an obsessive tendency that I need to really, back off on. But
I have that habit, but I also have a very good just like fuck off and move on kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Because I kind of treat it almost like almost like it's like a timed test where I'm like, if I'm stuck on this problem, instead of wasting all the time I have to fucking be doing this test,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna skip this and move on to the next thing. And then sometimes, sometimes you come back to it and you're like, yeah, I had the right answer. I can turn this in.
Oh, for sure.
And so it's like, so like, especially if you give your ears that moment and like you give yourself the time, sometimes you can come back to those takes that you felt like you were struggling with.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, actually, no, I kind of had that. Or even you're like, oh, wait, this old take that I deleted.
Yeah, it was really good.
Why did I do that? Yeah. So it's like, I've tried to kind of reshape my mentality. Sorry, I totally like veered off.
No, it's okay. I entertained it. So if anything, I'm being a bad host. I gotta lock in.
No, you're being a great host. This is genuine.
I appreciate it. That's what I want. This is what it's all about. It's about being genuine and vulnerable. So I kind of wanted to ask, like, what during this part of your life, during your adolescence, you said in your like junior high school or senior year of high school.
Yeah, I would have been around there, sophomore, junior year.
So what was kind of your favorite, most formative artist during that time? And like, did you find your favorite record of all time during those years?
No.
Okay.
I did not. It was not during those years.
Yeah.
But I think. So there was some other, like, on the side, I was still listening to like video game stuff.
Of course,
because like I was really into fucking Smash Bros.
Oh yeah.
Like I went to like tournaments and shit.
Dude, if I looked up Melee on Twitter right now under your account, there would be hundreds.
Oh no,
of
not
things.
Melee. It was actually no. I started with Smash 4, and then I moved on to Ultimate when that came out. It wouldn't even be Melee. It would be it would be mostly Ultimate if I was on Twitter, but yeah, no, I was super into that shit.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff. There were a lot of, and again, I still didn't really even know what metal was.
Yeah.
Because my metrics were already so skewed.
Yeah.
There were some new bands that I was listening to that were like considered metal. I didn't realize it. But there were also going back. There were a lot of songs from those games that were like my favorite songs.
Yeah.
And they were metal. They're instrumental, so I'm not hearing like like I'm like, oh, that's metal. He's screaming at me. I gotta take my headphones off. But yeah, exactly. But like instrumentally, it's absolutely like fucking. It's got the double kick patterns, fucking like all that bullshit. And I was super into that. I didn't even realize it was heavy music. I was just like, yeah, I fuck with that. So just so embarrassing. But I think the first band that I considered to be metal.
Yeah.
Like while listening to it, that I like truthfully got into, like in my youth, was Five Finger Death Punch.
That's fine, dude. I own their little like greatest hits record right now. Like I have it on CD. I did the Trump hands. I think they were the greatest. They were the best. No, but
nobody Five Finger Death punches quite like them.
They've got the most fingers. No, but there was what's the one where it's like, I will never be what you want me to.
Oh,
that one. Coming home, dude. That one had a fucking chokehold on me.
Yeah.
Like around.
Okay, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you get it.
Yeah.
Because obviously going back now, I've like heard so much shit that blows it out of the water.
Oh, duh.
Like, why? What did I ever see in this?
But like I mean, I was raised on Nocturne.
So commercial is because, yeah, exactly. It's like it had. I mean, they've got hooks. For how horrible of a person he is, it's not like he's a bad vocalist.
Oh yeah, no.
And it's like, you know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, some of the drumming was fairly impressive on some of those records.
No, that's very valid.
It was just like, I don't know, there was certain things that I was like drawn to, and it's like back then I was so much more focused. I think I've shifted away more from like, I was a really big fan specifically of composition.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought like the way songs were written, like that almost mattered more to me than like how they sounded.
100%.
If I was like, oh, this is like, and I think it was kind of like a pseudo intellectual approach to it,
but
where
see,
I was like, I want smart people music.
That's
so I was like super
though.
into like Rush for a bit and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I know, but like.
You can be the worst sounding band in the world. Nobody can deny a vision and how powerful.
But anyway, so it's But like,
No, we're gonna cancel us for Five Finger Death Punch, okay?
yeah. Guys, I'm safe. I hate Sleep Token. I'm kidding. I don't. I just hate the new record. But anyway, so but there were
Light two.
admittedly they were able to write a decent anthem. And some of their
Wife-beating
they would get
anthems.
orchestral with it,
Yeah.
100%. They would get orchestral with it sometimes,
Yeah.
you know. I thought that was really neat. And they had those big choruses, so I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, this is the shit."
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not even listening to the words or anything.
No.
Like, but he's like, there were certain points where the kicks, it's all, and he's like, and I was like, this is cool. I like this. And so I think
Yeah.
that was the first time I really perceived something that I was listening to as being metal.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I didn't branch at all from there for a good like 3 years. It was just they were the metal I listened to.
Yeah.
And then like that was it. Which was like so weird looking back. I don't know why I never thought like maybe there's more people doing this that are better at it. Like, I don't know why that didn't occur to me.
Man,
Like,
similar
that
to
like,
Five Finger Death Punch.
2018.
Yeah.
Like you know how many you know how many fucking insane heavy records that would have had all of those like same appeal
Dude.
points except they were actually good.
You could have listened to Trauma by I Prevail at that time, which you would have loved during that
that's the
time.
same shit, dude.
But I mean, let me tell you, I love Lifelines and Trauma, dude. Those are great records. I do not care what anyone says.
So I found, or I was made aware of the existence of I Prevail long after I had already started listening to stuff that was just a little deeper than that. So by the time I had heard them, I was like, no way, the heavy song with like the pop punk vocals on the chorus, and oh, here's a breakdown. Ooh, it's like, you know what I mean?
Look, I will not tolerate any bow down slander or worst part of me slander.
I don't even know what that is.
Dude, no, I'm gonna, after this, I don't care how corny you think I Prevail is, because don't get me wrong, they're definitely kind of corny, but like, Bow Down is fucking like good. I was like, low key, I didn't think Octane would play this song, like, because it's like, damn, like it's very much an Eric focused song, like. Kind of like
an honest shot.
Yeah,
you just gotta send it to me.
Trauma has a bunch of like heavier songs by them. Like, there's a lot of good moments. There's a lot of bad moments, but there's a lot of good moments.
I mean, my issue isn't like a lack of heaviness.
No, of course not. No, it needs to be good. Like like with the Sleep Token thing. I don't care that there's a lack of heaviness.
Yeah, it's like it has nothing to do with the fact that it's not a heavy.
Yeah. Dude,
it's just shit.
Why isn't there a breakdown every 2 minutes? Like every 45 seconds.
They're not breaking it down. This token is making me sleep.
It's in the name.
It's in the name. They're up front. I gotta give them that. But yeah, I mean, they were kind of, I don't know why I didn't think to like branch out, but like there was so much shit going on at that time. Like I don't know, I'm trying to think of like fucking metal albums from 2018.
Oh, there
like
there
what
were
was fucking out
amazing.
like at the time.
Trivium dropped.
Fucking Ordinary Corrupt Human Love, Deaf Heaven, dude.
But
like that's what I mean.
Didn't what is it? It's Sin in the Sentence by Trivium. Yeah, what year was that? 2017. It was the year prior. It was towards the end of the year. But that record, dude, that changed my fucking like outlook on the guitar, dude. I was like, holy shit. Like, yeah, no. Yeah. 2018 had really, it was a good year for metal. At least I remember it to be.
It had shit that I did not need to be listening to what I was listening to.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, Error Zone dropped from Vane.
The Fool. That was 2018, bro.
Yeah, that and the Silver Scream. Which I don't care.
Okay, well, no.
I don't care what your opinion on Ice Nine Kills is. That was a good record.
Let's not pretend like. Let's move on.
Okay,
I'm not gonna entertain this. There was a song on Silver Scream that I listened to for a bit.
It is the end.
I don't remember what it was.
It is the end. because that one's my favorite.
Don't think it was that.
But no, okay. Like you said,
I can't remember off the top of my head.
We'll run away from it. We'll run away from it. But
yeah. Let's get out.
I'm gonna take a piss break. So.
Me too.
Okay.
His friends.
His friends. We are back from piss break.
Fuck yeah.
So, all right. Picking up. So.
Yeah.
Favorite record of all time. Of all time.
Give me 1 second.
It's okay. I have a tie between Good Apollo and Burning Star 4 Volume 1 from Fear Through the Eyes of Madness and Language from The Contortionist. Those are insane fucking experiences.
Okay. So off the dome.
Okay.
It was I Let It In and It Took Everything.
That's a great record. That's
that was the Domer. That was the.
And you know what? Some people will call you a normie, but honestly, it's it's amazing. Definitely one of the top for the decade, dude. I can't even be mad.
The way I view music was redefined by Thousand Gex.
That's fair.
Fucking love that album.
They're funny.
If we're gonna talk about like some of the more like commercial metal that's out there, I'm a really big fan of Post-Human Survival Horror, like the first one.
Okay.
I think that was a really good record. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a really big fan of Road Carpet Disaster by Static Dress too.
Okay, yeah, no. They're good.
Fucking Origin of Symmetry by Muse. Really like
that is a great record.
Lately, I think the ones I've been like most fucking into have been Death and Birth of an Angel by Falling with Scissors and From Joy's self-titled. Those two are fucking peak.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm trying to think. There's other shit. I Disagree by Poppy is really good.
That is a great record. Agree. See, I don't disagree, actually.
I feel like there's something. I feel like there's totally something I'm forgetting.
And that's okay. I mean,
it's driving me insane. Fuck. Oh, God.
He's gonna be like 25 by Adele, which is a great record.
25 by Adele. Oh, Toxicity, System of a Down.
Oh yeah, no, that's a like must listen to.
Hala Matriaphagy is really good too.
Yes.
Really big fan of that record. Greyhaven's Empty Black is fucking ridiculous.
See, I've heard a few songs off of that record. I still need to finish it.
Dude, you'll love it. You'll fucking love it. It's so fucking good. Slipknot self-titled.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, one of the goats.
Fucking what's the Sophie record?
Oh,
Pearl Oil, some bullshit.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't even remember.
I have great
Ruining
respect
It for Everyone
her,
by I Wrestled a Bear Once.
Oh, fire.
It's really
Finger.
fucking good.
Finger.
But I think the Domer is I Let It In and It Took Everything.
And
so
that's
I think
fine.
that's gonna be my final.
That's fine. No,
that was the Domer,
so
I gotta go with that.
Let's kind of get into what your
My Pony and Koi no Yokon by Deftones
true
are up there too. I forgot about that. Sorry, continue.
It's okay. I want to know about your initial interactions with the scene, both kind of local and just in general. So what was your first concert experience?
So technically, super technically, the first show I ever went to, it was Slash with Miles Kennedy.
Oh, dude, I've seen them too. Yeah,
like
they put on a good show.
Long ass time ago, but I really didn't care for like most of the time that I was there. It was more just like my parents had taken me.
Yep, same.
But it was because it was at the Hollywood Palladium, which is like a fairly intimate venue for its size.
Yeah, dude.
And I remember kind of just going around to the side of the stage. There was some song they did where like Slash played like an 8-minute guitar solo, just straight fucking. And I remember being over there on the side of the stage, just like fucking. He's like legendary. I'm like a child, so I've still got this like fucking like starstruck kind of mentality going on. I'm like 30 feet from him, like max, and he's just shredding.
Yeah, dude.
And that was like profound to me because I was like, oh my god, this is Slash.
Yeah.
And he's doing the thing, and I'm right here watching it.
Dude, yeah.
Like, and that was really cool to me. But I think the first show that I like consciously was like, okay, tickets have been acquired.
Mm-hmm.
This is like what I'm doing right now. It was a Beartooth headliner that my friends had taken me to for my birthday because they had like an extra ticket, and they were like, yeah, let's do that. And like, I hadn't even listened to Beartooth at the time.
Right.
And frankly, when I had started listening to them because we were going to the show, I was like not about it.
Right.
But the openers were Dragged Under, which was quite nice.
Okay.
And then Wage War, which was like live specifically, was like super fucking
They're a great live band.
Because I think a lot of their music, like if you comb through like a slew of garbage, they have some really fucking high peaks. Like there are some songs that are genuinely so fucking good if you wade through the fucking Atlantic pile garbage in fucking the middle of the ocean. Like every once in a while you find like a fucking bar of gold, and you're like, holy shit.
Okay, I won't take any I won't take any dead weight or pressure slander. Dead Weight is a great record.
Anyway.
Dead Weight's a good record.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me double check.
But Stigma is complete ass cheeks.
I don't really know them by name. Hold on. Oh, dude, that new record is dick on the ground.
Yeah.
No, Dead Weight's good.
And Manic was pretty damn good too. But
oh, sorry, you're like not. I can't hear you.
Oh, I said.
Sorry, it lagged a bit.
Yeah, I said Manic is a good record too. I like that one.
Manic is a very solid record.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely kind of grew out of the sound they were going for on that one, but there are very like highs in that album that I was very impressed by. The opener, Relapse, is an amazing song.
Yes.
Fucking Death Roll was like my favorite heavy song for like a long time. Just because it's so fucking like in your face. That breakdown is fucked up. It's just so fucking like, what are you doing? I thought that was really neat. But I think specifically, so I hadn't really been listening to, because the reason I started like expanding my heavy music palette was because when I got with my partner, when we were like first talking, a lot of the not heavy stuff that we listened to was like the exact same. There were some bands I had gotten into like during that development, like between when I had branched off from like the alternative rock I was listening to.
Yeah.
Like from that time, like some of the more like relative to the stuff I was listening to, some of the more niche stuff. And by niche, I mean like bands that were on the radio that weren't household names.
Right.
Like fucking like Grandson I really liked.
Yeah, Grandson was
Highly
good.
Suspect was like my favorite band for like a good 3 or 4 years.
That first record, man.
Dude, I know. That second record is underrated as fuck, dude.
I didn't like it nearly as much, but it is good. But everything post that record, I've been like, ah.
The new one was fine. Like, there were moments where I was like, oh, they finally stopped doing whatever fucking hard drugs they were doing. Like, in that, like a lot of those bands where I was like, kind of like the tier 3 kind of like fucking, they're not household names, but you'll hear them on the radio every once in a while type bands. Like the stuff that kind of like made me feel like I was starting to like tap into the underground because I didn't know how the fuck that worked. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That was a lot of the stuff my partner listened to too, and I mean it wasn't too common to find fans of those artists, even if they knew the songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
Like it was fairly like it's still fairly uncommon. So so we would kind of just go back and forth about that. We like made each other some playlists and stuff, and there was some of the a lot of my partner's foundations for their taste came more from like the like punk and like pop punk and stuff like that, which is kind of like just such a natural gateway into like heavier stuff.
Very true.
So the first playlist that my partner had made me when we got together had some Bring Me the Horizon in it.
Oh hell yeah.
Which I had never even heard of, and this was like 2021. So just to give you an idea of how quick this fucking like progression.
Imagine missing Simp Eternal, bro.
Yeah. I know. What The Fool. I'm saying, dude, it was so late. The Fool.
Dude, I was like 9 when that came out, though.
Yeah, that's true. I was probably like 11. I don't remember when it came out, but
it was 2013. Yeah.
Baby. Yeah, I would have been 11.
So.
Yeah.
Hold up. on April Fool's Day, funny enough. Sorry, you didn't catch
April Fool's Day of 2013?
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, you would like your screen.
I
think
like.
probably it's the.
It's my
Are you on
CPU.
Chrome?
Yeah, it's my CPU. I'm using Chrome.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. But yeah, so like it had some Bring Me the Horizon on it, and I was like, this was like fucking mind blowing to me because I had never, and I mean even to this day, a lot of that music was very like we're moving shit forward with those records. That like you can't take that away from them. But I was like, I think the song that really like started like made me realize like, oh my god, this shit can get good. What funny enough, it was fucking Teardrops by Bring Me the Horizon.
That's interesting.
Like,
yeah,
because that was really really good to me.
Yeah,
I still think it's a
bad
good song.
Yeah, it's not a bad one at all.
Right. But that was like, for me, for my little baby virgin ears, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, dude.
There's that fucking bridge at the end.
Yeah.
And that was like heavier than like a lot of stuff I had heard before that. But I was like so drawn to it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is really neat.
Yeah, dude.
So, I mean, from there, it just kind of fucking exploded. Because that was like all I wanted to listen.
Uh-oh. We're back. I had a severe internet issue where my server completely fucking went off the map. So we fixed that.
Difficulties.
Yeah, of course it had to be the first episode, right?
So fucking bad, gang. Fuck were we talking about?
Okay.
Oh, live music.
Yes.
Okay. I went on a tangent, but I had a point to make.
Yes.
So from there, it kind of just like evolved, right? But a lot of it was still pretty like for the most part, like sanitized.
Yeah.
Like heavy music, and I mean, I feel like that. I mean, actually, there's some Wage War songs that are pretty like hardcore influenced enough that it's like fairly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in there. You know what I mean? That's where their roots are. You can tell.
Yeah,
just,
for sure.
Like, based on, but live, they played The River.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the closest thing that I had become familiar with, like in the realm of like a panic chord, would be some of those dissonant bends that like some blues acts will do, like Highly Suspect, for example.
Yeah.
Like the fucking like the little like post or like pre-chorus like breakdown thing they do on bath salts, where it's like.
Yeah.
You know the one fucking like that was like the closest thing I had. Like, that song's so good, but that was like the closest thing that I was like familiar to when it came to like that type of thing. Yeah. So when they got to that breakdown where it's like the fucking kill switch panic chord. Yeah. It's like like that fucking thing.
Yeah.
And like the other guitarist is like riffing along with it. I was like peak. I found peak.
Absolute
it doesn't
cinema.
Get better than this. Spoiler alert, it got better than that.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is the end all be all. Like this is where music peaks. I'm here. And I'm experiencing it. And I like, so that was kind of, and Beartooth sucked ass. He cannot sing live. It was so bad.
He's gotten better apparently. My parents just saw them with whoever they're touring with. So,
you know, this was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure there was room for them to get, but so they were ass, and I was kind of expecting them to be ass, but I was a very big enjoyer of the Wage War set.
Hey.
So that kind of for a good like year or so, they were probably like my favorite. Like they were the one I was listening to the most, at least.
Yeah.
Especially once Manic came out, there were really a select few tunes on that one that I was like really into.
You know,
but
yeah, man. No, and that's totally about like so that first concert, you know, that Slash Miles Kennedy. Like, what were your initial takeaways?
I just thought it was cool being that close to something so real. Like, because I hadn't like really experienced live music before, so kind of being like, I don't know, it honestly didn't really influence how I felt about music too much at the time, just because like I wasn't really like, it was a weekday, I had school the next day, I was tired, I was kind of getting dragged there, so I wasn't really giving it like the full and honest like like shot that I should have literally up until that point at the end where like he was doing that solo or whatever. But it didn't really honestly it didn't really make me feel a whole lot different about like live music the way the Wage War set did. But I did think it was so cool being that close to something so intimate like that. I don't know, because I think there's something so beautiful about like, it really doesn't matter the style. It could be simple chords, but like there's something very very unique and very special about being next to or near someone that is playing an instrument like that. I couldn't tell you why that, like how that works, but like even if I'm not into it, like even if it's just like fucking like it could be someone playing fucking Wonderwall on their acoustic guitar. Being next to that is just like, I don't know, it's really beautiful to me. I don't know.
No, there's just something about being like getting to observe and be within the vicinity of someone who is so like such a virtuoso with their instrument to the point that's an extension of themselves. That's always going to be mind blowing. That's always going to be very intimate and mind opening.
It's very vulnerable too, I feel like. I just think it's part of the beauty, because it's just like, I don't know, you're allowing people to experience that with you. And I mean, like even for someone that like at that point was like a seasoned fucking veteran who had done this every night of their life for the past like 30 years. And it was fucking, it's still just like, I don't know, there's something so fucking beautiful about that to me. And I think from that point forward, I kind of adopted that mentality. Whereas prior, I don't know that I had really cared all that much. Although I had this weird, kind of gripe for a bit where I couldn't really enjoy music that I couldn't imagine being performed live. Even though I wasn't like super, which I thought was, I feel like now that I think about it, it's like weirdly contradictory.
No, and that's fair.
Regardless.
I mean, two things, as someone very infamous right now has been saying, you can care about two things at the same time. So
wrong.
But no,
fucking making shit up. Whatever, bro. Okay.
It's only black and white.
I mean, but yeah, from that point forward, at the Wage of War show, I was listening to, I mean, Manic came out not too long after. I think they had even like mentioned that the album was going to be coming out, like during the show. So it was like not too long after, but I had that one on fucking repeat, and then they played The River, and then they played Stitch too, because like that was their big song at the time. I thought those two songs were extremely good. So I would kind of, that would be that was like the first like live show that I was mostly conscious for. So I would probably, if like someone was asking me more casually, like not in like more of like this interview setting, I would probably just say Wage War. I don't think I would really consider. I don't know if sitting on my phone in a venue for a few hours right up until the last 8 minutes really counts as like being at a live show and experiencing that. But
there's people like that in the local scene, you know.
That's true. Hey, but that's a little different, because I think if you're at a local show and you bought a fucking ticket, like, you're goated. I don't really care what you do when you're there, as long as you're not like disrupting the flow. I do think it's better to like show the band the energy that they deserve to have, because I imagine that like venues prefer that to just. Dude,
like, I'd be calling people out for it all the time. I point at them. I'm like, "You paid to be here. Get the fuck up!" Like,
I'm always so fucking dumbfounded whenever I'm at a show, and someone who isn't like because there'll be people that are like, they go for the headliner, which honestly is very rare for me. I feel like a lot of the time, I mean, a headliner obviously will influence my decision to go, right? But there's been a lot of times where I've bought tickets to headliners I don't care too much about because they fucking had a flawless ticket that they had chosen for the show, and I was like, holy shit, I get to see all these guys. And if the headliner like isn't that good, I can just leave and I get to be done with it early, and like it's such a beautiful thing. But I'm always so dumbfounded whenever like the non-headliner is playing, and there are people just motionless, fucking like they could not even, you could not pay them to care. It's like, you bought a fucking ticket.
Why
You're
are you
here early
here?
as shit.
Like,
You're here early as shit if you don't care about the openers. Why are you not even trying?
Dude.
Like, I went and saw the Spirit Box really recently because I needed to see that Loathe set.
Dude,
like, dude,
I'm so mad they came nowhere close to Tennessee, dude.
They closed with an unreleased song, by the way.
Yeah, really?
Fucking amazing. Yeah, only time on that whole tour they played that song, and I was there.
Insane.
But Dying Wish played first, and they're excellent.
They're fucking crazy.
They're really cool. Sounded huge.
Yeah.
The vocals were incredible. I mean, even though a lot of the riffage was just like 0-0, the songs were moving around enough that like I didn't mind a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I mean, it was really hard not to groove to it because it was very much that like breakdown kind of like deathcore. You know what I mean? So it was like really hard not just be like, ooh. Ooh, you know, yeah, exactly. You know how it is. But like, I'd look around.
I'm on my phone between sets,
and I'm like, no, me too.
Yeah.
But like, you could even be like, there were certain points where I was kind of like checked out a little bit because like the shows happened late in the day or little, but I'm like this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
like,
for
at
sure.
least fucking move.
Yeah.
Jesus, it's live music. They're up there doing that shit for you.
Like, it's honestly kind of awful how many people are like going to these shows now just to be like, yeah, I went to this show and like use it as a status symbol.
I didn't even know that existed for Spirit Box,
which
they're not like.
Yeah,
their growth, I feel like, has been fairly organic. They haven't had like a TikTok hit.
No.
They're on a pretty decently sized label, but I think a lot of their popularity comes from people enjoying the bodies of work they're doing, and not just like, oh, they played Circle with Me.
Yeah.
TikTok hit. It's like, no, but that's not how they roll. Like, it's not.
So I want to get into the next section about kind of your first steps, right? I want to know, like, is this your first band or first project as a musician, and like, what was the final push to make you want to be involved?
The short answer is no.
Okay.
And I'll get into why the short answer is no.
Yeah.
But honestly, the long answer is kind of concludes to yes. So it's like, let me explain.
Okay.
So there was a I want to say like a good like 3 or so years that I was taking like piano lessons, right?
Right.
So I kind of like had very like foundational music theory.
Yeah.
Down like at a point in my life where like I wasn't necessarily too interested in like even writing anything. It was more just like I wanted to be able to play songs that I liked.
Oh, true, yeah.
You know what I mean? But so I spent like middle school, like before I was even necessarily into like writing music, and this was back when most of what I was listening to was like those remixes and stuff that I was talking about. I would do a thing. There was this in-browser DAW. And I can't remember what it's called or if it still exists.
Is it Sound Labs or Soundtrap?
Yes. I use
Soundtrap.
That's the one.
Yeah. I
would make fake emails to get like 2 weeks
baby.
For free. And what I would do is I would find MIDI rips of songs from games that I like.
Yeah.
And then I would put them in the DAW. I would change all the instruments. I would find like drum loop samples and stuff to put over it.
Yeah.
And then once I was satisfied with the sound, I'd put it on SoundCloud.
Oh yeah.
I would just for anyone to find. And it was weirdly successful. Because I think at that time, SoundCloud was such a good platform
for discovering
people finding it. Because I want to say this was like over 10 years ago. Here, let me double check. I'm gonna find my cat. Show you guys again. I like doing that while Aidan's gone. It's funny. Ew. My hair's growing out so good. Oh my god. Uma, we must show the people. This is the cat that is on the Without Reality cover. This is her. Her name's Luma. She's the sweetest little cutie patootie fucking ever, dude. She's such a sweetheart. She's such a baby. I love her. Look at this. Look at this shit, dude.
The famous kitty.
The famous without reality cat.
Yes. I don't
There
know.
she
That
is,
cat's looking
dude.
pretty based in reality. I still think that the volume 2 picture is probably still my favorite because like that 0.5 of just like the cat like reaching our
The
paw.
fucking hand, yeah.
That's just
Dude.
so good. I love that pose. That's a perfect
attribute-
picture.
I attribute a good chunk of the attention that the recent projects have gotten from the fact that I've just branded around pictures of her. I genuinely think that that's been like a draw because they're literally like, because fucking. Actually, you know what? I'll save this story.
I was about to say, let's stick with the structure
Fits more of the
and we'll get to the present. Yeah. Okay. So
the thing
first
I was saying
band,
about,
first
like, the
project,
remixes and
Soundtrap.
stuff.
Yes.
So 9 years ago, I just looked on SoundCloud. So all of this now is on my like PLUSFICTION SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Which like I literally just have it to like whenever there's a demo that I think is good, but I don't want to release it because I just don't have the fucking. Like it's one that I want to like pull parts from.
Yeah.
I may not necessarily like the song the most, but
Yeah.
I kind of still want people to hear it. Sometimes I just put them on there.
Right.
There's like 2 unreleased. There's like 3. No, there's a bunch of unreleased demos, and there's some old demos from when I like just started making guitar music that are
Right.
on there too. That I've pulled stuff from.
Yeah.
So there's definitely stuff on there for like if people are fans of what I do. There's like a few hours of just unreleased shit that you can find on there. I don't point people toward it. I never like post the link or anything, but I've put a few of the songs I've written as PLUSFICTION on there too. To the Bones on there.
Yeah.
The entirety of Without Reality Volume 2 is on there as one sound file. So it's like a 10-minute song on there. Because the album, I mean, it does flow.
Bro's going the
seamlessly.
Pink Pantherist fucking philosophy, dude. Fucking write 1 to 2 minutes per song.
I mean,
It's all good. I don't care.
sometimes. but there's like some demos on there. So I scrolled back to the end. Yeah, 9 years ago. Crazy enough, fucking so Route 209 from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. That's the song
Oh,
I was
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
earlier. Holy shit. So I made a little remix of it where I literally just like I found some popcorn synths. I found like a basic fucking like electronic drum beat to put over it.
Fire.
Fucking changed up some of the instruments. There was like a really good high quality like guitar VST that was just part of like the Soundtrap's like stock
Oh,
that
yeah?
I would put on shit a lot. And like this was one of them. Here, I'll send you the link
Oh,
right now.
dude. Yeah, I'll listen to that later for
But-
sure.
I was literally like, fucking, how old would I have been, dude? I had to have been like 12 making these. And this one has 14,000 streams. Like, it's, yeah. Yeah, like people like
Dude.
found it and gave a shit. Just crazy. And then
Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane.
so that would have been like technically where I started, right? I know that would have been technically where I started. And from what I've been able to gather, a lot of the biggest people in the communities that like remix Pokemon and like video game like music in particular, they do pretty much exactly what I did,
Right.
but with a bunch more steps. The production's obviously
Yeah.
gonna be better.
Yeah.
They're gonna like change stuff around, fucking, you know what I mean? Like the mix is gonna stuff.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I mean, what I was doing, I thought I was cheating.
Yeah.
But the more research I did, the more I learned that that is
Right.
in fact pretty standard, right? So, fucking, that would technically be like my first music project. I don't even remember what I was uploading under, but all of these would have been on the same SoundCloud account.
Right.
But so we fast forward a bit to the pandemic starting,
Yeah.
which would have been like fucking how many years later from this point? This would have been like 8th grade, probably like 4 years later, I think, 4 or 5 years later. Where my school had done this thing where they were like, or because at this point this was when I started branching out from the alt rock that I was listening to.
Gotcha.
So this would have been around the time that I was starting to get into like Highly Suspect, Grandson, Greta Van Fleet, fucking exploring some old classics too. I was listening to more like Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, Black Sabbath, stuff like that, where it was like I wasn't really listening to that prior because I was like basically just 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, so I was listening to like more of that, and it was kind of getting to the point where like I wanted to learn how to write stuff.
Right.
Because between some of the old like remixes I was making and stuff and some of like the new music I was listening to and more that I was like learning about music, I was like, I want to make this shit.
Yeah.
And the keyboard that I had like a composer mode where you could just kind of like record multiple like tracks at a time.
Right.
So there was like some stuff that I was just like writing and it was like shitty, but it was fun, you know what I mean? And so at this point I was kind of at peak like interest in like I could start writing music.
Right.
So pandemic hits, I'm bored as fuck. I'm like, I could be making music.
Right.
So, and because my school did this thing, I don't know how many school districts did this, and I don't know why mine did this, but it might be the single greatest gift I've ever received in my fucking life. But they did a thing where your GPA from the point of in-person classes ending could only go up. So if you had grades that went down from there, they would not be counted as lower grades.
Interesting.
At this point, right? At this point, when the pandemic hit, when they had made that announcement, my GPA was a 3.8.
Yeah.
I was goddamn fucking chilling.
Yeah, you were fine.
So I wasn't showing up to any of my classes. I wasn't doing any of my fucking work. I would just shack myself up in my room for like a couple hours a day in the morning just to make my mom think I was doing school. And then I would just do fuck all like on my phone, be on fucking Twitter, or do whatever the fuck. But eventually I had to come clean because I was dying of boredom. I was like, Mom, my grades are locked in. I need to be fucking doing something. You and Dad always talked about how cool you thought it would be if I started writing music and stuff. I want to do it. You got to buy me a DAW. I'll start working on music if you buy me a DAW. And my mom's like, what the fuck's a DAW? Right? But so I'm like, I didn't know you could pirate DAWs. So I'm just like, FL Studio, fucking producer.
Allegedly.
There is a website you should not go on.
Allegedly.
Because it would be illegal for you to go on there. And so I'm telling you this so you can avoid it. It's called GMEH. GMEH. Avoid it at all costs because it is illegal. And on there are a bunch of illegal, just like download. You don't have to crack or torrent anything. Just like you fucking download them and they work. If I was a bad person, I would be using a bunch of pirated VSTs from this website on the projects I make now. But that's illegal, so don't do that.
Yeah, no, that's extremely illegal.
I'll send you the link so you can avoid it.
Yes.
I'll send you the link so you can avoid it. But yeah, that's where you would be able to pirate a DAW if you were evil enough to steal from these corporations. Like
dude. Why we love corporations?
Way to do it.
We love Why would we want to hurt them?
Have you heard my music? Yeah,
dude, you raging fucking fiscal conservatives only, dude.
Yes.
We believe in the free market, and
don't tread on me unless you're my cop, or unless you're a cop or my boss or a corporation.
I love the taste of muddy boots. I love it. It tastes so good.
But anyway, so I was like, FL Studio, the producer edition was like 200, came with some pretty good stock plugins. So I was just like, let's just roll with this. So I had some melodies that, I mean, admittedly, I had like accidentally stolen from like other shit that I was listening to. There's like a lead melody on like the first like truly like I wrote a song. Yeah. That's mine, original. It was called Dust in Your Footsteps.
Okay.
I didn't sing over it. I had no vocals. I was strictly instrumental at this point because I was learning the DAW. You know what I mean? I didn't have a good mic or anything. the main, like the hook, like melody, this piano melody almost sounds like it was fucking 1-to-1 stolen from that one like Dropkick Murphys song.
Yeah.
That has like the fucking like Irish jig, like the da 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 da, like. But,
dude.
So this shit was like the first like real like I wrote this fucking song that I ever uploaded, and I was like, for the first thing that I had ever written, I was like fairly proud of it, even though like going back, it's very whatever, right? But so I had, because I was at this point still very inspired by like video game music, right? I had kind of tried to make the mix in a way that it almost sounded like it was from like a Donkey Kong game or something like that. And so I tagged the composer, I posted it on Twitter, and at this point on like the count that I had, it's since been suspended.
Yeah.
But I had like 2,000 followers on there that were mostly like from like gaming communities and stuff that I was a part of. So they like gave a shit about this kind of thing. So I posted the SoundCloud link. I tagged the main composer for like a lot of the Donkey Kong stuff. And I was like, hey, this is the first song I've ever written. I'm just getting into it. And he like saw it and he responded and he was like, great work. And I thought that was so cool. And it like brought people to it.
That's
so that
awesome.
one has 5,700 plays at this point, in 5 years. But so that was kind of like the first like, thing. And at this point, because I was writing mostly like remixes and like electronic music, that was like, my own kind of compositions. And because a lot of it was like gaming related. So the Pokemon Scrafty, right? Are you familiar with the Pokemon Scrafty? I'll
probably not. I'm very familiar with the originals. But
that's okay.
Yeah.
Those ones are good. Here, let me show you this guy. So this guy was one of my faves back in the day. He's a little guy. I just sent it to you on Discord.
Oh.
But, so because he was one of my favorites, and I was making like gaming-based electronic music, I had my name on SoundCloud as Scraft Punk.
Oh no, I know.
It was Scraft Punk.
But that's funny though.
So I had it as Scraft Punk, right? So I started like doing shit like this, where I was like, I've got this little playlist of like remixes and stuff that I made, where because I didn't know that like putting the MIDI in the DAW and fucking with it was like standard.
Yeah.
I was composing it by ear.
Oh, dude, but
which was
that's awesome.
So much work. I learned so much.
But that is a great exercise. Yes.
Yeah. It was very, very helpful.
Yeah, dude.
In learning the DAW and in like figuring out.
Honestly, I forget what it's called. It's a different type of pedagogy. The Suzuki method, I think it's called. And essentially what it is they start the kids at a young age. And for the first two books, basically it's a trifecta. You have a teacher, a parent that learns with the kid to make sure that they stay engaged with the practice at home. So they also learn the instrument with them. But the first two books are no notes. Like they do not read music. They play by ear and listen.
They just engage with music.
Because what? How do you learn a language? You learn how to speak it first. You do not learn how to read.
And then
first.
you learn the technicality.
And that is why we do not have a lot of. There's a lot of American mediocrity in that world, where it's like because they start off so late and there's not a lot of funding and they try to teach you how to read it before you know how it sounds. So no, learning to do things by ear.
It really is, and it's a language.
Yes.
So I very much agree with that approach because it is its own language.
Exactly.
It's a universal language, which is so beautiful.
That too.
But yeah, I very much agree with that approach, and I think it benefited me a lot that I thought I was cheating and had enough heart to like not do what I thought was a shortcut.
Yeah.
But I think that taught me a lot, which funny enough, I'm looking at this playlist. The one with the least amount of plays only has 795, but someone had made me a visualizer for it as a GIF. So I had put it on YouTube. And on there it has like 10,000 plays or something like that.
Hey, that's sick.
It's really, right? Which I thought was quite neat.
I'm kind of curious as to what our highest streamed is right now. It's probably still
11,000.
8,246 streams.
Let's fucking go.
So we're getting to the 10K mark. Dude. Yeah. Our lowest streamed is literally close, and I can't blame them. I personally, I'm going to say, I think that's my second to least favorite song we've put out.
think I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is
think I
awful,
agree,
but I think
yeah.
it's a good opener, like, for the EP. But anyways.
Which is why it shouldn't have been a single.
I'm sorry.
You up through the screen.
Yeah, dude.
but so yeah, so I started just like doing that shit, and then I had a friend that was an extremely good illustrator that was trying to make like a fake like Pokemon
Okay.
game. Just like conceptually, not like we didn't have like programmers or anyone who knew
Right.
how to do ROM hacks, but he was like, "Hey, you should like write some music for it."
Right.
Holy shit, bet. So I was like creating mock-ups of characters and stuff, and I was just like composing my own like kind of just like shit for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was using like I just had the only VST I was using for this was sound font loaders. And then I just like found a Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire sound font.
That's fire.
Just downloaded it. Probably came with malware. I don't give a fuck. Fucking and I just started writing songs with it for this project.
Yep.
Which I thought was really fun. Getting more into, because this was at the beginning of 2020, so I hadn't met Alex until a year after this.
Yeah.
And so once heavier stuff started becoming more of an influence for me, I started trying to make songs more in that realm that were entirely VST, because I still wasn't singing over anything.
Right.
So I've got a little playlist of songs that like I considered to be part of like a little instrumental EP. This was all still under Scraft Punk. But it was just a bunch of like random, very like incohesive, like they don't fit together at all. But I was just like, it wasn't supposed to. It was just like, here's what I'm trying to do.
It's a little OST thing.
And some of it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, no. This was after that.
Oh, yeah. This was the heavier. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah. No, you're good. But there's some really cool concepts on here. Stuff I still think I might be able to like steal from. But once I like, there was one song I made like a year after all of that, because I had kind of stopped writing music for a bit because I was more focused on like finding it. And I had such a creative slump. There was a good like 9 to 10 months where I hadn't written anything, and I genuinely thought I had lost it.
Yeah.
And then I sat down back to the DAW, and I honestly still think this song is fucking incredible. I'm still really proud of what I did here. It was like a like proggy, like entirely VST, like metal / like prog rock kind of fucking like. How long is it? It's only like 4.5 minutes.
Oh, I was about to say,
so much.
It's 35 minutes.
It's 30. It's a fucking rock opera. No, but it had like a lot of like moving pieces that were all really coherent. I'm really proud of it. But then Aidan, mistakes were made. And by mistakes, I mean I made one of the best investments I could have ever made. And by best investments, I mean it was a mistake. I bought this little red brick that is known as
the Focusrite.
Focusrite 2i2 Scarlet. And this little bad boy changed my fucking life.
Dude, yeah.
Because my uncle's a pretty good guitarist.
Yeah.
I had him teach me like the bare fucking essentials.
Yeah.
Just, like how do I play power chords and stuff.
Oh yeah,
how do I
the basics.
Like, how do I move my fingers down like a pentatonic scale?
Yep.
Literally, that's all I learned from him.
Yeah.
That's all I learned from him. Jumped ship. Learned ways to tune my guitar so that certain chord shapes could be extremely basic finger positions and stuff.
Drop
and then
D.
I plugged that shit in, and I made a few instrumental tracks that I actually fucking played guitar on.
Yeah.
And uploaded those. This was still under Scraft Punk. PLUSFICTION didn't exist yet. And these songs are pretty cool. I've stolen some stuff from these for PLUSFICTION. But so there's a few like instrumental demos.
Yeah.
Those that exist on SoundCloud now. And then all of this was while I lived with my parents.
Yeah.
So didn't have a good mic, couldn't record vocals if I wanted to.
Yeah.
They were very intrusive, did not have any respect for my privacy. there was no way I was going to be able to record music.
At least not vocals, yeah.
Right? No. But they were very loud, had no respect for, like, if I was like, I'm going to be recording vocals for the next hour, they would not be able to keep it down. Just fucking, right? So, didn't even try.
Yeah.
My partner and I moved out together in 2023.
Yeah, I remember.
And we had moved into the place that my sister and her at the time boyfriend were staying at because they had just lost 2 roommates to a dispute.
Oh, no.
And they were like, we're going to lose this place if we don't find 2 roommates. And Alex and I were like, we are 2 roommates and we have jobs. So we'll move in with you. And the beauty of this place, it was quite a nice place. It was in quite a nice neighborhood because there were 4 of us paying for it, right? So we were able to find a place that was quite decent since it was a quadruple income, no kids household. The amazing thing about this place was that it was a 3-bed. So there was one room that nobody used that we just had as a storage room, which all of the clutter in there worked as sound absorption too.
Yep.
All of the clutter in there because it was just a storage room. So I put my desk in there. I bought a fucking mic. And I was like, are we going to fucking do this? Is this how this is going to fucking go?
Yeah.
And so I was like, holy shit, are we going to do this? Like, I've got like a studio basically now. Like, no way, right? So at this point, I'm still like writing instrumental stuff just because like I had found like drum VSTs and stuff and I had like sucked at mixing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I had come to the conclusion that with the fact that I did not know how to do harsh vocals, with the fact that my guitar skills were extremely lacking, I barely knew how to navigate a DAW, I'd come to the conclusion that my best bet for making something that had the heavy influences I wanted it to, with vocals,
right,
was going to be to make almost like an industrial, like almost trap type, like fucking basic riffs, fucking like type shit. Which, I mean, honestly was not the best conclusion to come to.
Right.
And I really don't have too much fondness for the first little PLUSFICTION EP that came out. I think there are moments and points in it where I'm like, oh, I was cooking. If I remaster this in like 10 years and like remake everything, this could be really good.
Dude, that's why I dropped the demos. Yeah.
There. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the ideas were all there.
Yeah,
dude. The execution was just so lacking in my opinion. Yeah. But it was like, okay, this is kind of like the idea. And so literally the first time I had ever sat down and been like, I'm going to write a song, instrumental, that isn't fucking loaded. And the goal is going to be more than anything for this to be like a rhythmic backing to what will be vocal centered, like narrativized songwriting.
Right.
I sat down while Alex was at work.
Yeah.
And in like 2 hours, start to finish, fucking writing the song, recording the vocals, mixing it, mastering it, I wrote Agony.
Oh, right,
which was the lead single for the PLUSFICTION project.
Yep.
And I saved it. I put it on Google Drive. Fucking, I went to pick up Alex from work because her car was out of commission at the time. And I was like, check out what I just fucking did. I like played the song on the speakers and it immediately opens with like, I had pretty decent speakers in my car at this time. And it immediately opens with just like guitars and sub bass.
Yep.
Like that's like the fucking thing. And I'm like whispering into the mic.
Yeah.
And so like, I turned it on and like instantly, because I had never recorded anything that had vocals on it and I hadn't even like told them that like that was the plan. My partner was just like, what the fuck? No way. Like super excited for me.
Yeah.
It warmed my heart.
Yeah.
It was such a special moment for me. But yeah, so I had written that song and I was like, I think I'm going to put this
on the internet
out into the world. And I was like, okay, because the mix is fairly basic, the riffs are fairly basic. It's the type of music where like I can cut and splice things pretty unassumingly. Nobody's gonna think like, oh, that sounds fake, because it's basically electronic music with guitars. So nobody's really gonna care. I was like, I could write a couple more songs, kind of make the riffs a little more interesting if I just like cut and paste parts of it.
Yeah.
Fucking give them some more interesting like song structure, just because Agony is a very verse chorus breakdown chorus song.
Yeah.
I was like, we can throw some not that on here.
Yeah.
Make it all in the same project file, fucking cut where I want each song to start and begin. We've got a little 3-song EP here.
Yeah.
So
that's simple.
Put it out. Fucking, and rest is history.
Yeah, man. And you really got into that next part I was going to talk about, which was the process. But I mean, you kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone, and I appreciate that.
Woo!
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
No problem.
You have a really, spontaneous approach, which is something that I love, because sometimes music, a lot of people talk about like the tortured artist approach, which honestly, I'm gonna be so for real with you. That's me. Like whenever I'm feeling something really intensely is when I do it. But a lot of the songs recently I've been like retrospective about. Like I'm very much like my approach to writing music has been different as I've gotten older. Like there was one point when I was like in middle school, high school, I was writing like 2-3 songs a day on paper. Like I would, and
on paper is crazy,
dude, because I got in trouble a lot for like reasons that totally make sense. And so I never had a phone, but
Me too, dude. Fucking amen to that.
So
Drinks on me to that one, dude. Yeah.
So I was writing a lot on paper, especially in high school. I was getting really into it, and breakup happened. It was like the first time I ever fell in love. I was like, oh my god, like I'm gonna fucking write. And like a lot of my writing from that point forward was like spontaneous ideas, like write down, finish it all in one go. And now I want to be like that, but I've gotten to a point where it's like, what can I say that I haven't said before? Because I've written so much, but it's like I have to wait for a new reflection or like a new way of looking at something to really be like, bam, okay, that's it. Because a lot of songs, like, it'll be like, okay, I want to write, but what can I write about? And I sit there and I just beat myself to death over it. But then a few days later, it'll be like, yeah, baby, let's go. And
got it.
Like, even like this EP has been hard to write lyrics for, low key, because it's been like, man, I've not been feeling a lot. But then like I had situations like as we were working on songs, I was like, this fits. And the stuff that they're dropping now, the stuff that they're writing right now, I've been having a lot of stuff where it comes to like, man, I feel a lot of regret. I have a lot of like even though I was just a kid when these things happen, I have a lot of regret, and I know that I'll never get the chance to say it.
Felt that.
But the one person we talked about it, like one of the people that I was talking about, like we did make up. I thought we were good, but then apparently stuff's been going around, whatever, that maybe it's not all good. And so now I'm kind of like, I'm writing to the people that I truly now have that regret for, and then being like, well, like to all of you except you. but no.
Oh yeah, thank you for being not you.
Yeah, but no, like that spontaneous nature is really great. And I can relate a lot to that myself.
If I think about it for too long, it doesn't happen.
No.
I have to just sit down, fucking open the DAW, and just start fucking doing shit.
Yeah. I wish that my bandmates were like that.
I benefit greatly from being one person.
Yeah, I got things done very efficiently.
Super random little fun fact that makes me sound like an industry plant.
Yeah.
This guitar, this Jackson here that I used to record Without Reality Volume 1 was a gift from a former member of Poison the Well.
Oh, that's super sick, dude. I want to kind of look at the present and we'll get to the future and then we'll finish this up. But are you seeing the outcome that you hope for right now?
So I try my best to remind myself often that like growth isn't gonna be linear. Um, where there's gonna be moments, especially because everyone's attention spans are so short these days.
Dude, yeah, don't even get me
Where
started
it's
on
like there's gonna be moments where like you're gonna put out a project. First like month or so, fucking you're gonna be, if you're like me and you're manic as fuck about this type of shit, you like check the stats daily and you're like, who's listening
seriously.
to this? What playlists are it in? Fucking like, because I mean, it's less that I care about the numbers and more I'm trying to see where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's really interesting to me because I think it kind of helps me figure out exactly what I'm gonna do next.
Mm-hmm.
Which same as like the name searching. It's like, oh, what are these people into that are talking about?
Right.
It? Where it's like it's less like I need to see every word that's being said about me. It's not quite as like obsessive as that. But I mean, it's in that.
I am.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely not like very far removed from that.
Yeah.
Like, please don't get me wrong. But so it's like I'm trying to remind myself that like it's not linear, right? But there's been, especially since Without Reality dropped, there's been kind of, I think that's the one that kind of opened the door to like connections that are gonna be like instrumental in like that next step,
Yeah.
quote unquote. Because I think the first time there were people, like there was like eyes on anything I was doing. I put out that single To the Bone with my friend Love Kirby. It's super good.
It is.
Fucking anyone listening, if you're into hip hop, that's like his thing. It's like he does like his own like experimental hip hop project.
He's
his
good.
sound, like especially I'm glad you think so. His sound like prior to like us working on that song had literally close to zero like heavy music influence either. We were from very different backgrounds, but I was like, some of your shit ventures more into like hyperpop territory. I've got this bridge in the middle here. I am admittedly very bad at processing vocals, and my CPU is so bad that if I pirate Melodyne, I'm gonna fucking burn my apartment.
Allegedly.
So, I would never, which is why my apartment would burn to a crisp. Because I'd be so upset at myself for breaking the law that I would like.
Because the God King would punish you for your wrongdoing against the corporations.
That's you dropping a truth nuke. But so I was like, hey, you make cool music. Sometimes it goes into like hyperpop territory. I really want to blend that kind of sound with metal, but admittedly, aside from composing kind of like the digicore, like kind of like instrumental portions of that, my vocal capabilities are not, my vocal and my mixing capabilities are not where they need to be to get that like, and I'm really bad at writing like hooks. So I was like, I can't do any of this. You fucking can. Get your ass on this song. And he sent me like a little like demo immediately. Like he just like recorded his ideas onto that part of the song and like some like ad libs for like different other like sections in the song. I was like, this is exactly what I was fucking looking for.
Right.
Like we had the same exact fucking vision, even though we were from such different backgrounds musically. And so I was just like, do you want to be on this fucking song? Because I haven't released anything since last year. And at this point it was like summer of the year after.
Yeah.
So we were on like a year of a drought and I had like fucking 100 followers. I don't know. There were people that wanted more music. Yeah. Like that existed. It was very few and far between. I think at this point the only person who's like the only people whose radar I had kind of been on that would have been like voices that who like calling attention to it would have been helpful for me. It would have been Holiday Kirk for the new metal. Yeah. And then fucking, oh my god, why am I drawing but Hansel from Nightlife?
Yeah, dude, I love him. I love him to death.
Had found one of my like trappier songs that was out. It was the one that got like botted that I had to delete because it was fucking like ruining everything for me. But so aside from them, it was mostly just like there were a few people that had found it on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, when's the next thing?" So like I wrote that song in like a couple days.
Mhm.
That one was probably one of the longest processes because it was the first time I'd ever done a feature. And it's a fairly, I mean, for my discography, at least as PLUSFICTION, it's a fairly long song. I think it like it like I want to say it's like almost 4 minutes, which like I kind of
Calling
writing lately
4
more with the
minutes
in-your-face
long makes me want to
like the
die.
in-your-face bullshit. Dude, it's fucking like political, like grind adjacent
Yeah.
fucking music. It's
Okay,
like,
fair.
fair.
Yeah.
Once I venture into like 3-minute territory, I'm like, oh, this is my prog grind. This is like kind of, it was a little longer than some of the songs that I had written prior, and I was like trying to make sure that I liked everything about it. And I did a last minute change like the day before I put it on distribution because I was like, this is ready. I just need to like touch up the mix a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I was at the point where I was like ready to put this in distribution without doing something like this. But the song kind of ended with a bridge.
Yeah.
Which like, I mean, that's fine, I guess. But I got this idea. I was like, the song has already been so chaotic and so stupid, so fun. I recorded a really basic, just like 0-0, like fucking breakdown for the end of it. Because I was like, how cool would it be to just play random fucking piano notes at the same time as each 0 fucking hit? So it's got like this dissonant fucking and I literally just fucking like pulled out my JDXI and just like did that. And it was like first take. It was exactly what I needed. And then I just ended the song with some fucking like whammy pedal fucking like to like fucking just like round out the fucking, and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever written. And it sounds nothing like anything I've done prior.
Right.
Everyone's used to like fucking electronic drum kits up to this point from the shit I'm writing.
Yep.
We're gonna give them like a fucking metal song. This is like actually happening. And so I put it out there, and that was the first time I'd ever actually like screamed on a song like legit. I've been practicing. And so when I put that out there, I was trying to get word around, and people were actually kind of like spreading in, talking about it. But the eyes started because I went on fucking the Holiday Kirk. I went on his fucking Monday show that he does, and I was like, "Hey, play this song," and like again, I don't want to get like autofallacious here. I don't want to fucking stroke myself and nut in my own mouth here. But I still, to this day, like, and I watch almost every single one of those streams that this guy does.
Oh, really?
Just because, like, I love finding the new music that way. It's just such a good way fucking find new shit. I've never seen the chat on his channel get so fucking, like, into what was going on.
Yeah.
Like, when he played that song, everyone was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like in a good way.
Yeah.
There were so many people, and I literally, like for the next, like, fucking 12 hours, Twitter was just like, this person's now following you. This person's now following you. This person wants to send you a message. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, dude.
So I think that kind of, like, laid the groundwork, because it brought so many people in that were kind of looking for, like, that metal, fucking experimental, fucking dissonant, noisy, hyperpop inspired kind of just like half serious, like fun music that doesn't really sound like a whole lot else that's out there.
Right.
That was kind of like, it was just such a good way to bring people in. Like,
yeah.
It got a decent amount of attention, but admittedly, I had a few of my friends, because I have not done this since. But I did this with all of, like, my prior releases, where I had a few friends. I was like, hey, I want to trip the algorithm on Spotify a bit. Put this in a playlist that has, like, similar music in it that you like. Click on my song and then put it on repeat and just let it play overnight.
Right.
So the first, like, 2,000 streams on To The Bone were extremely inorganic. Like, they were not real.
Yeah.
But now, like after that, now it's at like more than 3,000. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, man.
So it's like, it's at, let's see, it's at 330. Or it's sorry, 3,300. So it's
That's
like.
great. Yeah.
At this point, naturally, it would have hit like it's displaying how many streams it has.
Yeah.
Type numbers.
Yeah,
Even
dude.
If we hadn't done that.
I always hate when it's like less than
the sub 1,000.
Just fucking show me, dude.
Yeah, that's so embarrassing. But so that had kind of like kickstarted like eyes on like people giving a shit.
Yeah.
But later that year, we had the fucking 2024 election. We all know how that fucking went. And I was like so fucking jaded that I was like, I just need to write a song, like a short, angry song about how badly in Roblox that I want to curb stomp that orange fuck and watch his brains fucking splatter all over the ground in Roblox.
Allegedly. Yeah, no, because we know that you are an aspiring Secret Service agent.
I am extremely pacifist in my politics. Political violence are
bad.
Yeah, so I had just sat down at the DAW. I wrote that song in like an hour.
Yeah.
I was just so mad, and I had like there were just like riffs and shit. I had my guitar tuned. I shit you not. It's like it's like the first like the big 3 strings on the 6 string are drop A, right? So it's A E A. Right?
Yeah.
And then the little 3 are, I think it was like, it's like, what is it? It's like, I think it's C A C sharp.
Holy shit! Yeah, that's weird as hell. Yeah.
Because I was able to do power chords with the 3 strings, and then the same fucking like power chord finger formation would get me dissonant panic chords on the bottom 3 strings. So I did not have to think at any point.
Yeah.
It was just like, if I want, I can just jaunt. Yeah, and I had the whammy pedal under me.
He said, "Let me pull a Darko."
I was just like, this is like the perfect fucking tuning for me to just be angry. And so I was literally recording guitar at the same time as doing the vocals.
Wow.
Which I've never done.
No.
And I still don't.
I don't do that either.
That was the only song I've ever done that, because I wanted the riffs to be the same as the vocals almost.
Oh yeah.
Where,
very slam like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like for example, in that song, there's a part where the vocal passage is like do do do, and then that's literally the fucking that's the riff playing. It's like a chun 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 and like a couple harmonics, like I literally just wanted it to be the same thing.
Yeah.
So I wasn't thinking about it. I was just playing because I was like fucking pissed. And I still don't think that's something that like I can do regularly.
Yeah.
It was literally just like for the one time.
Yeah.
And so I finished that song and I was like, I'm gonna put this in distribution now.
Yeah.
I just want to get this out there. This is how I'm feeling. So it was just like a surprise single, no promo.
Yeah.
So I had just like put that out. I was like, here's my fuck the US government in Roblox song.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Role playing a dirty commie.
Yeah.
I put that out, and then I was like it didn't sound like anything I'd written before. The fucking drum VST I was using was entirely new. The fucking mix was like entirely new. I had gotten a lot better at the harsh vocals from like the last songs I had.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was like, I could totally write like an EP in this style.
Yeah.
I could make like a cohesive project.
Yeah.
This is on. Which that wasn't even the plan.
Yeah.
So like that, at no point did that song exist in the context of an EP.
Right.
Until like way after. So I was like, I'm gonna write around this, and I was like, I don't want the single to be the intro. I also don't think this song works as an intro.
Right.
So I had been sitting on some demos where I was using the same kind of mix. So I had stolen parts from like a few of them, and then I wrote Beauty and Destruction, which is the second song. And I had then I was like, okay, something needs to like build into this. And I had like no inspiration like from anywhere, and I was like lost. I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do
right
from here. And so I was just kind of like, I had this idea. I was like, I'm start to finish gonna write the drums for this song first.
Right.
And so I started with just like a fucking break sample that I was like cutting up and fucking, I was like interlocking it with like actual, like with like the live drum samples just to make like this weird like intro that kind of had like half of fucking electronic drum samples and half like live drum samples.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I could probably do some riffage over this, but I'm not going to do that until I'm done. And then I kind of just had some absolute fuckery with just like different types of drum samples going through toward the end. And then I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if this song ended with just like a fucking like double kick, almost like 4 on the floor type like breakdown thing going on and stuff like that. So I just wrote drums for this concept, just with none of like the songwriting in mind. And then I started building around that, and that's how we got Instakill. I mean, even on the EP, that song like sticks out because it's mixed the same way everything else is. So like it doesn't sound like out of place, but I didn't get that weird or that experimental on any of the other tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Which like I was so glad I started with the drums for that one because I ended up loving that song so much. And there was a little part in the middle that was just like entirely electronic, and it had the fucking like, I would love a hyperpop lead on this like for vocals, but I can't do that. So I hit up my bro again, and I was like, lay down some lines for this, and then he did, and that was like the song that people resonated with the most that was on the EP. Yeah. But like when it came out, I was like, I had that picture of my cat just in the air like that, and I was like, oh, people are gonna fucking love this. I'm just gonna edit this. And I had made the album cover, I had got the songs together. Light That Burns the Sky, I was like, I need this to have like an epic closer. Mm-hmm. And that song's like 4.5 minutes long, which is like quite a bit for me too. At least the stuff I'm doing like now.
Yeah.
So I was really proud of that. And I was like, oh, this is great. And then I just fucking spliced together a bunch of different like little guitar recordings I did for like that breakdown at the end, where I literally like had my whammy down in an octave. So I'm in like double drop A, just for like the chugs. And then like, so I just recorded like the pattern I wanted for those. And then I put the whammy back to normal for the parts that I wanted to be doing like, and then I kept the whammy up there to record like really high powered chords that almost sounded like harmonics. Spliced all of that together, and that's how I got like the breakdown at the end of that song. Yeah. So like I was satisfied with the closer. I like really liked what I had done for that one. So I was like, we're gonna put this out there. Yeah. People aren't expecting it, because I didn't indicate at any point that was going to be a single for like an EP. Right. So I just like dropped that. It was the first thing I'd put on Bandcamp too. I still have no idea how or why, but word got around. Yeah. And I specifically remember being kind of blown away at like just different people that like I thought made really cool music that like I considered like as inspirations. I was just getting notifications like, this person followed you. Yeah. And I was like, oh, come again? Hello? And fucking, and this was around the time that my friend that knows Garrett from Silent Planet had him roll up to our cafe. Right. And then while he was there, he was like asking me about my music and stuff. And so on his phone, he had searched up PLUSFICTION. And I remember like, that. Literally later that fucking day was when they made that meme where it was like the text about turning the Creed down or whatever. And so I'm just in that screenshot.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, guys, like I kind of pretended I didn't know that had happened. Yeah. I was like, do you guys see that?
Whoa.
I'm on their radar. No way. Right. And like,
it works.
So fucking, and then I was at Hot Pot with a few friends like that week that it had come out. And I'm just like, I've got my phone like on the table next to me. Right. No, in my pocket? I don't know. My ringer was on, which is normally not on. My ringer was on for some reason, and I just started feeling like... Right. Like back to back, and I'm like, who's messaging me? And I opened my phone, and it's Instagram notifications and Twitter notifications telling me that, both on Instagram and on Twitter, that Bajalvin and both of the members in it had followed me on like everything. Right. And I was like a fan of theirs at this point, and they were like about to go on their fucking Void Dome thing with fucking Sudden Death where they're playing an arena show.
Right.
And suddenly I get these notifications and I turn to my partner. I'm like, dude, look at this. And like, as I'm showing my partner, I get another message that's like, hey, your stuff is sick. You should hop on one of our songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, where the fuck did this come from?
Right.
And then they had like tweeted, they had like tweeted literally just the all caps, just like listen to Plus Fiction. It got like a bunch of likes and stuff. And there were like people asking like what that was. They had linked like the Spotify and stuff.
Right.
And I think from there, I think that really got the ball rolling because a lot of they were probably the first band that had a lot of similar crossover appeal points to what I do.
Right.
While also having a platform that had been like, check this out. And so at that point I was like, shit, I need to start linking my Bandcamp places. I wonder if this could be like a valid side hustle at this point. So I figured out how to like distribute those CDs and stuff. And like I had asked, I was like, hey, how did you find this?
Mm-hmm.
Just purely out of curiosity. And they were like, someone on our timeline was talking about it. And I thought the album cover was cool, so I listened to it. And I was like,
yeah,
it worked!
Yeah!
It fucking worked!
Yeah!
Because I really do think that it has the vibe of the music, too.
Yeah.
Like that.
100%. Yeah.
I really do feel like it has the vibe of the music. So I had, from that point forward, and fucking, DSFP, the everyone's favorite fucking one-man label that does all of the like physical releases and people, or like physical releases for people and stuff like that. Do you not know who I'm talking about?
Who?
DSFP.
I feel like I recognize it, but I don't think I'm familiar.
Okay, so he does a lot of like physical releases for bands, like because he's kind of got his like own like one-man label thing going.
Okay, cool.
Extremely reliable. He's very, very quick responder. Fucking all of his shit's like super high quality. He published From Joy's self-titled.
Oh, sick.
He published Falling with the Death and Birth of an Angel. He published them initially. He's got his toes in a lot of different pools.
Right.
And he was gassing up the EP, and he was like, I'd love to do like some sort of physical release with you.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just told him, I was like, hey, I think while I'm figuring out exactly what I want to do with this like series of EPs, I'm gonna like self-publish the physical releases and stuff. But I think once I'm at the point where, because I think Volume 3 is gonna be the longest, and I think once I'm done with that and I'm in the process of like figuring out how rollout and distribution is gonna work, I'm gonna message him and be like, hey, can we do like a full length 1 through 3 physical release through you?
That'd be awesome.
And fucking, so that's the plan. So I kind of technically like for the moment kind of rejected the idea of like doing it immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, please, I will keep in touch. But he had literally just like, the moment I realized that like people were starting to give a shit, he had posted the album cover, just a picture of the album cover, and just caption, without reality plus fiction. And it got like over 100 likes. Just like the fucking, just the idea of the album itself. And I was like,
man, I wish we were interesting enough.
People?
Yeah.
I was like, who the fuck are you people?
Yeah.
Where did you come from? And then I had a really neat opportunity that came not too long after, because there was this show that a local promoter was putting on that was just a bunch of different like heavier hyperpop experimental kind of adjacent acts, and most of them were local, but some were kind of like imported by the promoter, where the headliner was Bajolvin, and it was their first show in LA. So the fact that the two of them who I had been talking to were going to be playing a show like right here, I was like, oh, I have to go to this. So I got the opportunity to like meet both of them and stuff, and they were like, dude, you have to figure out how to do live shows. We will get you on these tickets when shit like this happens. Like, we will be your advocate. Like, we want to play shows with you. Figure your shit out. Because I was like, yeah, I don't do shows because I don't have a band. And they're like, you don't need a fucking band. Nobody playing tonight has a band, and some of these are fucking rock and metal acts. You'll see exactly what I mean. And like, sure enough, everyone, it was like 2 people max per act, and their entire backing tracks were just like what would be played by a full band. And I was like, and everyone there was fucking vibing to it. I was like, holy shit, I could do that.
Yeah.
I would just have to fucking scream over whatever the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
That's all I'd have to do. And people would fuck with it. People would go, apparently, because like that's what they were fucking saying. They were like, people would love it. Just fucking maybe find a live drummer. So I'm talking to some people. And I gotta like make sure I know that like the name is out there just enough that if I wanted to do a show, I could do it. So I got the opportunity to meet all of them and fucking be there. And I was like, shit, now I gotta figure that out. And then with the fucking platform that the first EP had given me, I started writing songs for the second one. And I was just shooting my shot at everyone that had a platform that followed me. Just like, hey, I think your contributions would be really sick on this song. I think your contributions would be really sick on this song. And once I got the people that were on board, once I really found what I wanted them to do and like what I wanted them to be on, I was like, this is just going to be I'm just going to make this a little 3-song EP. Going to put you guys where you fit. It's going to be awesome. And specifically, I was really surprised. Zombie, she's really fucking cool. Hip-hop artist. Not too dissimilar to like the type of stuff that like my friend Love Kirby was doing too. When it came to just like the kind of more experimental side of that type of music, kind of convention breaking.
Yeah.
Inspired by everything kind of hip hop. She had found Instakill through the New Metal Moment account posting it.
Right.
So she had retweeted that, and then she had followed me, and she had quite a big platform. I want to say Spotify, she's consistently rocking over 100K monthly.
Jesus Christ.
And I had fucked with her music prior, because I had found her through the song she did with Fentanyl. Because they've got a song together. Yeah. And it's fucking heat. It's so good. So I was like, oh my God, it wasn't just a follow back. It was like a fucking, like, she had reposted music I'd made.
Yeah.
And stuff. And I was like, holy shit, this artist that I fucks with me. So I literally was just like, hey, I'm working on an EP. I've got a song that's got like this dancey, like electronic part going on in the middle. I'll send you the demo if you'd like. Is there any chance you'd want to be on it?
Right.
Instant response. Yes. Instantly.
Yeah.
Like fucking right off the bat. Yeah, I'd love to. I was like, okay, well, here we go. And then I was talking to, for post-birth Nazi abortion, I was talking to Hitbox's vocalist back and forth.
Yeah, we've gotten in touch with them too.
He really wanted to, so cool, he's such a nice guy. Because he really wanted to be on something that I was working on. I didn't really have anything where I was like, oh, this needs, like I wanted it to be a good fit. Because I didn't want to just like, I don't know, I really hate the idea of just like, oh, people care about your band, so I want you on a song because then people will listen to my music. I think that's fucking stupid. But I really do like the idea of kind of like having a project that's just like a bunch of collaborations that get people excited, because I want to be able to platform people that care enough to platform me.
Yes.
And they have to have like similar ideals. They need to be people that I would be friends with in real life. It's not just like, oh, you're popular and you care about me. There are these people that found out about me, that fucked with me, that had platforms, who made music that I fucked with, that I wanted to work with, that had expressed similar interests. And I was like, it'd be so cool to get a volume 2 out there that's just collaboration.
Yeah.
So I found the portions of the song. I found the portion of the song that I wanted Hitbox's vocalist on. And then I had made, when I wrote Everything I Touch Dies, I was like, there's going to be parts of this that are just like electropop. But again, I can't write those hooks. And I had already gotten fucking my friend Love Kirby on another fucking song, which is also the song Zombie, because I was like, I thought that their fan bases more than anything might have more overlap than mine with Zombies. I was like, how cool would it be to give this opportunity to my friend to like be on this project and like have that potential exposure, because they're both in that like experimental hip hop scene.
Right.
So I had already had him on that song, and I was like, do I need a 4th song with this guy? I don't. And I know that that Alice from Haven, at least say is her last name, from Bottom, that's behind Bottom Surgery. She was expressing interest in being on a song, and I was like, oh my gosh, she kind of delves into that territory quite often. I'm gonna hit her up and see if she wants to be a part of this. So I just sent the demo. I was like, hey, if there's any empty space you want to put vocals over, fucking go for it. I'll just use it. I don't even care what you do. I just want you on here. I think it'd be legit. And she had listened to it, and she had like sent like a 4-minute fucking voice message back, just like talking about how fucking cool it was, like how excited she was to like be a part of it. And I was like really touched by that. I was like, oh, this is so sick. So once I had put that together and fucking put all that out there, I think that this one, I think volume 1 gave me the connections I needed, but I think volume 2 is kind of now where ending up on the map might start, because Zombie is playing a show here in LA tomorrow. She hit me up a couple weeks ago and was like, hey, let's do our song.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. Okay. Yeah. That'd be fucking sick.
Yeah,
and so
man.
I've been like rehearsing that and stuff, which like I'm so scared. But
Dude, just up on that stage and go ape shit.
That's the plan. I've never done a live show, and it's part of an opening set for a band that has 700,000 monthly on Spotify.
Lucky you, man. I go and do it.
I know. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm fucking saying. Like, and I'm gonna bring like had these stickers made, because I made this fucking like I hand drew this fucking logo for myself that I really fucking like. That you can barely.
Yeah, no, that's awesome though.
Sick as fuck.
Yeah.
I had these like stickers made, so I'm thinking I'm gonna bring a few with me. I'm just gonna throw them when we're done with the song. Just
beautiful.
Into the crowd. It's fucking. And then I had a couple people ask me if I was gonna bring CDs with me to the show, so I ordered a few.
Yeah.
Just to like fucking bring if people want to buy them. If not, that's fine. I've got a bunch of friends and just people that are local and people that I like met via just putting the music out there that like follow me on Twitter that are gonna be there, and I'm like, holy shit. They're gonna be there for this. Yeah. Like they're taking time out of their fucking day for this song that I wrote, and that's just wild to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to take that. You know what I mean? Like it's just phenomenal to me. But so the very long answer to your question about like where things are headed, but as long as I allow myself the room and grace for there to potentially be slumps along the way, I think the trend line will continue to go up.
Yeah.
So I have faith in that. So I'm excited for the future.
Oh yeah.
There are some potential collaborations on the horizon. I really want you on a song.
I'm down. Like you just got to get that part done, and I'll start writing. Yeah.
I'll send it your way. But there are some bands that have expressed interest.
Good.
There's some people that I found out. One more funny story about like the direction things are going before I fucking allow you to continue hosting. I apologize for going on such a tangent. So when I tried to get the volume 2 out for the first time, I'm sure you recall some distribution issues I had.
Yeah.
One of the songs is called Post-Birth Nazi Abortion.
Yep.
The title of the song is on the cover. Distribution saw the word Nazi and flagged the cover for having Nazi imagery, and I was required from that point to completely re-upload everything and retype all of the metadata, all of the credits, put a new cover, or else the songs were not going to be distributed. Couldn't just edit the cover. I had to fucking, from the beginning, restart. And I didn't know that because DistroKid is garbage and was giving me the option to edit the cover, which was just resulting in errors every time I did it. But they were giving me the options, and it was saying that it was because of the file type.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm like, okay, so because DistroKid's just like ran by a fucking, I don't even fucking know.
A kid?
But, yeah, probably. Yeah. A baby orangutan on a hamster wheel is fucking
a fucking buffoon.
Website. No, literally. So I was having trouble with that. And the Omerta band account replied to me expressing my issues, going, "Hey, if you trust us, you can send us your login info, and we can try to do it remotely. It might be because you're doing it on mobile." I was like, "Do you do you guys know me?" Like that was like weird to me. So I was like,
Omerta would not fuck with Bloodveil. I don't think. I think we're too fucking.
I think they would.
Really?
I think they would like your EP. I think they'd like your EP, yeah.
I feel like they think we're too normie.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Then put them on. No.
I may have to. Well, that's the thing. So I didn't even know that they were like
That they
aware
fucked with
of
you,
my
yeah.
existence, and then they replied with that. They don't follow anyone on their band account
Nope.
aside from the members of the band.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, I can't message you because fucking X is a godforsaken website. And so they like sent me a message just so it would like open up the option to DM that. And then I just like filled them in on what was going on. I sent them like a Google Drive that had like the right files. I gave them the login because I was like, these guys are too high profile to like fuck with my shit and get away with it.
Right.
I don't know what they would do that I couldn't trace back to them based on this. So like, there's no reason for me not to trust that this is like a genuine, like we are trying to help.
Yeah.
And then, so I was like they're like once we like came to the conclusion that I would just have to redo everything on my own, they were like, is there anything else we can help you with? And I was like, just give it a spin when it comes out.
Yep.
I think that'd be really neat. And then whoever it was that I was talking to goes, oh, absolutely, I'll do that the second it comes out. I really liked Volume 1. And I was like,
boom.
I was like, my immediate response was, who from the band am I talking to right now? And it was Vincente Void.
Yeah,
that it ended up being. And I was like, oh my God. He fucks with it. And like the only reason, like part of my like 50% of my inspiration to like sit down at my fucking DAW and write to the bone was that I was kind of upset at myself for like trying to play things safe in a genre of music that's supposed to be so fucking unsafe. Like with all of the releases I had done prior. And then when they had that whole thread just like wailing on Wind Waker for like stealing their album name and making like shit music. That thread about just being like, why would you make music that is safe? Like, why would you make art that is safe? That is so fucking pointless. And to like for them having the name of their album that they really tried to break convention with, and like the whole title Hyperviolence being from the idea of their art being violent in the sense that it's subversive and that it like challenges norms, and like for their gripe with it being stolen and being used on like a super cookie cutter fucking just like everyday octane core record. And like the rant they went on in response to that really kind of like helped me put my thoughts into words in ways that I hadn't quite been able to understand, or like hadn't been able to like verbalize. And it came to just like so much of the generic fucking slop that's out there. And so I was just like, I'm gonna write something fucking crazy right now. And like that's why To the Bone exists, and that's why like I mean the style that I took on after I kind of like had my perspective remapped like that is like fairly like in their hands. So to see that like the resulting fruit is being peeled and eaten in slices by the people that grew the damn tree is
really cool.
It was really special to me. And fucking I've got like a few like IRL friends that are really into like Omerta too, so I was like I got to tell that story to them and stuff like that, and just fucking like that was really
super cool.
But it was just like, I don't know, it's cool to like think that I don't know, just because there's been one indication that someone who wasn't really on my radar as someone like knowing about it had like listened to it and enjoyed it. Like I just wonder like who else is out there, and like how far the branches or like the roots of that might go. So that was really cool to me to have someone that like I attribute so much of my influence to. Just like be a self-proclaimed fan of what I'm doing right now. It's just so fucking badass to me.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I'm really happy that that's happening for you, because I mean, we've talked about it, and you definitely, you know, deserve it. And I'm gonna try to talk to Bloodvale about doing something for that collection single for you, and single collection. It would be really cool. I would love it. I keep trying to find places where I'm like, dude, Alec, I'm trying to find a place for Alec, because we talked about it before we even dropped anything, you know. But it's like our music is so different. It's like, oh my God, like I can't fucking find a place. So it's like we're looking. I'm working on it. So if everything goes well, we've been sitting on the hitbox feature we got for so long now, like about a year, and we're trying to write it in the way that makes the most sense for us, and it is definitely the most violent shit we've written, and it's awesome. Yeah. It's literally just about beating the shit out of someone who deserves it. But it's like...
That's my type of music.
Yeah. And so it's just... it's good. It's just one of the verses fucking sucks, and we keep trying to crack it. But we're trying to do something with Hitbox. You got this. We want you at some point, like, hopefully on one of these that we end up writing. And then, I mean, I keep wanting to platform people, but the thing is, like, you said something about social climbing, and obviously we want to work with big artists, not because they're not only because they're big, but because they're inspiring for us. Yeah,
their work is good. I mean, yeah, and I think that matters more than anything. Because like obviously there's nothing immoral about like being excited to be like given the opportunity to work with someone that has that big of a platform. Because more than anything, I mean, like, I feel like music, these scenes, it's a lot more likely to kind of like for people's fame to come from the music kind of speaking for itself, because there isn't like industry money in a lot of this type of music. So like when someone with a big platform like fucks with you enough to write a song, I mean, first and foremost, my excitement is from the idea of someone that this many people view in a positive light, viewing what I do in a positive light. Yeah. It's not even necessarily like, oh, there are so many fans that could be got from this. It's just like, oh, there are this many people that fuck with what you do, and you fuck with what I do.
Yeah.
And I fuck with what you do.
Yeah.
And you want to fuck you fuck with what I do so damn hard that you want us to make a fucking music baby out of this fucking that we're doing with each other. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
But yeah, no, and I mean, I added Cody from Villain of the Story, and he was like, yeah.
I know them?
They've been around for a little bit, and he's their new vocalist. So, and I liked them back. I found them back in like 2017 with Christian Grey, and Cody took over, and I was like, dude, Cody, I want to get you on a song. I added him just in a casual, and he was like, all right, I heard your guys' shit. It rips. Let me know when you guys find something. I was like,
no way.
I was like,
that's awesome.
Literally a band that I fucked with in fucking high school, and this dude's like, hell yeah. So yeah, man, like it's the little things that count, and it's the little things that hype you up, and those things are really important. And I hope that they do realize that. I hope that some of these bands that are as big never lose that humbleness of like knowing where they started, because that shit, it doesn't matter how small it is, that means to the world to kids and aspiring artists. Like,
dude, fucking for real.
Like, I was 16 and getting this shit. And like that shit, that I don't know. Like, obviously I'd still be doing this regardless, but like it pushed me so much extra just to keep going.
I say that's about how old I would have been when I wrote that song that the Donkey Kong composer listened to and like hyped up for me. And I mean there's so much of that, like, I don't know, just to like kind of put that into perspective, that it's like the guy.
Yeah.
You know what
dude.
I mean?
Like, man himself.
Like that's the guy. like I don't know, the imposter syndrome, like
it all feels validated when little things like that happen. Even if it doesn't mean anything to the big guy, I hope they know that means the world to people like us. So
it's like the positive kind of inverse of like the axe forgets but the tree remembers kind of deal.
Yes. All right. Well, I will say this has been a lot of fun. Make sure to check out Without Reality Volume 1 and 2, and just go give this man their flowers, because they deserve it, man. And just keep killing it. And I'm excited for Volume 3. Yeah, make sure to buy the record.
Volume 3? is 0% complete.
0% complete. Let's go. We're so close. No, but all right. Thank you. This has been the first
Thanks for having
episode.
me.
Yep.
It was a fucking honor.
If you have a link tree, I'll put it in the description.
I do have a link.
Send that to me, and I'll put in the description.
And this was recorded like moments before my first live performance, so I guess we'll see what happens.
Hey.
Actually, that's technically false. In middle school for graduation, I did the national anthem at the ceremony, and there were 1,500 people there. So it was actually kind of like terrifying.
The allegedlys make sense now because this is the most patriotic man alive.
I'm saying, dude, I'd fucking boot in my mouth.
I love leather.
Don't tread on me unless you are a cop or my boss or a corporation or the government.
But anyways.
Or Israel.
We don't want to get deported, Alec.
Yeah, I know, right? Literally, I fucking, if I go flying, I don't want fucking the TSA to.
But you know, free Palestine. You know, all the good shit. Yeah, for real. We're out. Thank you so much. If you stuck with us to this point, make sure to check the description.
Everyone.
And check out Blood Veil, of course.
Check out Blood Veil. The fucking ghost.
And
check out
I have no idea who the next person to interview is. I am in talks with a little band known as Clockwise from Knoxville, Tennessee, or Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Fuck Clockwise.
Dude, Clockwise is one of my favorite bands right now.
Clockwise
hands
is legit.
down. I'm also in talks with Ash from Fox Cult. And
neat.
Yeah, so I'm gonna talk to a few people. I might talk and see if Cody's down from Villain of the Story. And just really keep an eye out, and thank you for watching.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Fucking beat down that like button and make sure you crowd kill that subscribe button.
Stop motherfucking like button, motherfucker.